What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Wednesday, June 22nd to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Coming off another winning day for us here. Everything's going very smoothly. Everything's sort of coming together. You know, a lot of us here in Low Bag Fam have day jobs where they can't focus all of their time on sports handicapping. With my opportunity to focus all my time on sports handicapping, I should be succeeding. I don't know how you can lose when you're really putting all of your time in and you're working with so many great cappers. I mean, you should be able to return some sort of ROI, and depending on unit size, then you can decide, how much money you're bringing in a year. But I think the goal of us working together is, and I was thinking about this quite a lot yesterday, is to find out what works for you. It's pretty much that, what works for you. And I think that's what I've been searching for, especially in the sports that I'd struggled with, like MLB. What works for you? Yesterday, I went 8-5, up 2.51 units, 13 bets at $150 a pop. That used to scare me very much. I had no fear at all yesterday. It was so calm throughout everything. And I know I keep records. What am I struggling with? Well, when I am left to my own devices, I'm a losing MLB handicapper. If I had have bet, the first bet that appealed to me yesterday was the first 5 under in Cincinnati, Los Angeles Dodgers. It was a public spot, and this fickle, tough sport that has just analytics that are so complex is so difficult to cap. And when you see a 5 and a 9.5, you're like, how could it be that high? Now I know, just put a line through that first spot that jumps out of the pit. That works for me. If I went against my first intuition whenever I looked at the card, I'd have a positive ROI. And then why make any bets before I come to the show? We break down games from every possible angle. I've had a 25 unit. So I was down 14 units. I was 16-27 when I was just left to my own devices, trusting my own capping. Now, when I focus solely on us working together and I have all these boxes that need to be ticked, we're just a taint hair away from double-digit units. And it works for me. And I can't wait to talk NHL because, in capping, we have to decide sort of what can we quantify? What are the angles that we can really believe in and trust? And so, we're about 4 months. Jose asked, when did the winning really change for you guys? And I said, I think it was in the football season, in the second half of football season when we went off. But we're at now, I got to be 6 months of, extended success. And it should be happening. It should be happening because we work together. We break down angles. And some of you guys have other jobs that you have to focus a ton of time in, and you can't put the amount of time you want to put in. So this is just what should be happening. So we're coming off a very nice 8-5 day. No puzzler. I cashed that first 3, my man. That was a big turning point. Plus, sorry, I just noticed puzzler said I thought you went 8-4-1. No, that was a big casher. That was very important, and that was just Pistol Pete Loshak at his very finest. It was 2-1 Detroit after 3 innings, Puzzler. Shout out to everybody joining us. God, was Pete good yesterday. There's so many great cappers that we work with that we should be succeeding. It's not a surprise. We should be doing this. Viper in the house. What's happening, man? Fetty looked good and hurt me badly. And Mets, Blue Jays, Yankees, Braves for Vipe here. I'm going to copy and paste again. I've made no bets Why mess with what's working? So I've made no bets to come in. There's a bunch of bets that I wanted to make, but I was like, you know what? Who cares? Only one spot yesterday on the card, and that's the Pittsburgh Pirates. Did I miss the line because I waited? Other than that, it saved me a lot of losses. Mike M in the house. Michael Overlina says game 4 tonight. I can't wait to talk about it. Danny Lopez ready to get to work. Eric Jones, D. Jenkins, 2-4 in MLB. Double down on the Twinkies. The Twinkies hurt. Clint started the Die Hard MMA podcast. I guess I should go over exactly what happened yesterday. So 13 bets up 2.51 units. We've now hit our high watermark in MLB. 143 wins, 122 losses, 54%, plus 9.3 units, ROI plus 3.51%, average line minus 108. Colorado first 5 was a loser. And I thought it was going to be a winner. I was quite confident. It was 4-0 going into the bottom of the 4th. Dodgers -1, easy casher. I should have just stuck with the Gonsolin train. The market has had bigger bets on the opposition in Gonsolin's bets, or Gonsolin's starts. So Gonsolin, I guess that's not really true. What's happened with Gonsolin's last starts is that there's been a ton of money on the Dodgers and the market's gone in the opposite direction, and it hasn't scared us. Washington, Baltimore, that was a mistake, a bad mistake. It was first 5 over 5.5 was plus 100, and I cheated it down to 5 at minus 138. It was a safe move, and it cost me. Detroit first 3 plus 145 cashed. Atlanta first 5 minus a half cashed. Atlanta full game -1 lost. Minnesota first 5 minus a half lost. Texas Rangers, I thought Pistol Pete and I nailed that. Just nailed that spot. St. Louis first 3 minus a half. A plus 110 was a loss. I think I'm the only person who lost on the Cardinals bet yesterday. St. Louis first 5 minus a half cashed. Arizona, San Diego first 5 under 3.5. Nolly kind of pushed me into that bet, and that was a nice winner. 3 runs were scored in the 3rd inning, but that was it. Seattle first 5 minus a half cash. Seattle full game -1 cash. Marco Gonzalez taking care of me. I still think he owes me money in the long run. G. Martinez ready to go. Occupancy ready to go. Says, let's get this baseball money. There's my guy, Ick Schnizzle. Damn, had a horrible day. We'll bounce back. We'll bounce back right here. There's my guy, Jedi for life. Nasty Nate in the house. Mark Schillingberg, Real Deal Prime. Jefferson C. Saturated says, I'm exhausted from last night. Why can't I be the guy who makes bets and doesn't watch games? I've often thought that helps cappers if they don't watch the games because they don't have the biases that we have. And we have horrifying biases. But how do you not look? It's part of our fun and excitement. When I tell you guys I don't watch fiction, I watch the games tonight. And then it makes it very difficult to do the appropriate prep because you're trying not to focus on these games. Don Mack in the house. Poker Addicted 79 says, have you consulted with the Pigeons of Parkdale? When can we get their take? Interested. I'm interested right away. I find myself interested right away. Jay Peasy coming off a 5-2 winner. Ixnizzle says, that's not just handicapping, Jimmy. That's life, my friend. Says, find what works for you and believe in yourself and be your biggest critic. Always remember we love you and we're blessed, not stressed. I love that. That's beautiful. Brian Watson. There is a puzzler in the house. G. Martinez says, I watch the games too saturated, but when things go bad, I shut it off and walk the dog. Yes. I used to have to go for walks all the time. I can't remember the last time I had a loss force me to go for a walk. It's been a long time. AJ says, I've lost way too much in MLB this season. I have to take a break until NFL. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And then you can sort of look, you can put your bets down as if you were going to bet them and not bet them and just kind of see how you would do. But whenever something goes wrong, you have to ask yourself, why is it going wrong? And think about it. You have to figure out what are you doing that you think is not helping. And I told you, for me, it's just trusting my own gut. I have a losing ROI in bets I make before the show. Bets I make during the show, I'm just dumb hot, or after the show, working with you guys. Rodney Barton in the house. Mark Schillingberg said, didn't do well in early MLB, but finished strong. Like hearing that. Ronnie and Bergie, a Real Deal Prime. Alex Hill. Darn Max says, I got Tuesdays, Wednesdays off, so I get to sit down and watch the whole show. My ROI on these days is so much better. I get it. I completely get it. JP said my ROI is better Tuesday through Friday. It's us all working together. Not selling each other anything. Just working together for the greater good. That's fattening our bankroll. DC moving to 2-team parlays. I'm not one of those guys who will sit there and tell you that parlays is such a big mistake, because if your bankroll isn't at a point where you can get a score, then bet parlays. And I was somewhere mentioning the way I used to do Vegas, because I didn't have much money. So I would have $400 set aside each day for the MLB card. What I would do is I would bet the 3 games that I liked the most for $100. Then I would parlay the 3 of them, $100 each. Then I'd parlay the 3 of them with the biggest favorite out in California, blindly, the biggest favorite in a parlay. And then if I won the first 3 games and the parlay was about to cash, I would just drop a little hedge down. Sorry. So Jose has not watched Deliverance yet. That's okay. That's okay. That's all good. No worries. Okay, we've got tons of work to do. Brian Watson. There is Dan Kelly, still trying to make it on the live tour. Yeah. How is your golf going this summer, Dan? I hope you're having a great, great time. Danny Lopez says, if you think about the hours capping collectively we all bring to the table, we are just oozing with info that will help you sort and beat the juice. I agree completely. Saturated said the first 5 Rockies and Tigers play irritated me. I was only on Tigers' first 3, and I think I may do that again. Christopher Comtine says Pete was the truth. Nasty Nate says feeling good. Cashed some tickets yesterday. I loved Nasty Nate and Dabby Cab and Big Show and everybody on the Slaughter on the fishing video, outdoor pub sports radio. Glory, I loved it. And Vibe says I didn't fade Fetty because both teams are trash. Dommy Gunn down a little over unit. That will happen. Lost Reds first 5 and Mets team total pushed. All right, there is LJ from H-Town 501 on MLB yesterday. I love seeing that. Okay, it's time to get to work. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Oh, wow. Plus a half, too. Dommy Gunn's on the Mets first 5 and Toronto minus 121. North Ender says, taking the emotions out of gambling is something I'm getting better at. Yeah, it's tough. Let's get that bounce back for you. Piker. Ooh, running nice. Dialed in. But says a little advice from the Parkdale Pigeons would put me over. Okay. All right, we got to get to work. Thank you, guys. I wish I could give you all a shout out. There's Richie Rich, perfect for our NHL segment. There is Lucas Ryan. Got hurt the last 3 months. Blame poor bankroll management and drunk betting. Drunk betting, yeah. I feel like you have to make that mistake a lot before you finally stop that. But I don't think of it. Just don't chase. Ever chase. If you're having a losing day, let go. Let go. Now, yesterday was one of the rare days where all my late action hit with Arizona, San Diego, first 5 under 3.5, and the Seattle Mariners first 5 full game. But I'd already put that action in. That's the most important thing is it's okay to lose. You don't need to chase at the end of the night. When you chase at the end of the night, you're often intoxicated. But it's a mistake that you have to make multiple times, I think. I appreciate you, Johnny Gonzalez. All right, let's get to work. We have a great, great group here ready to get that cash. There's Slatsy. Says looking for goals tonight. First period plus 1.5. First period over 1.5 minus 128. Abs Bolts over 6 at plus 102. McKinnon over 4.5 shots. Vasi over 32.5 saves. I'm very interested to see what McKinnon does here. Very, very interested to see what McKinnon does here. GTM ready to get to work. So Piker, let me just do a quick couple of copy and pastes here just so we're ready to go. And then we'll bring Gogster in and attack. So I got Vipes action here. There's Piker's action here. All right. Dommy Gun says, my theory is totally different for me. I think too long, I'm wrong. I try to simplify. I'm good at line reading. It's exactly that, Dom. It's what do you trust? What works for you? If it works for you, keep doing it. And I'm excited. I'm pumped up. I'm extremely pumped up. Okay, so where was I? There was one more. It was there was one more. Oh, Slatsy's action. Slatsy's action. Where the hell is? Sorry, then we'll get rolling. Slatsy. God damn. Slatsy, why can't I find it? Slatsy, can you pop that action in one more time? I just a little overwhelmed here as we get started. All right, let's get to work right now. And Slatsy, can you please drop that in for me one more day? Let's go. Let's bring in. Oh, there it is, right there. Sorry, it's just up on the screen. Why can't I find it here? Oh, maybe it's one of those things where it just doesn't pop up in this one. I don't know how to. Okay. Slatsy, can you? Fuck, whatever. I just, it's not here on these, on my YouTube notes, and that's how I can copy and paste. That's my best copy and pasting material. All right. Let's get to work, though, and look at, I'll just remember what Slatsy's on. So he's on the McKinnon shot, total over. He's on first period over 1.5 goals, Av Bolts over 6. Interesting that's at plus 102. All right, let's talk Stanley Cup Finals Game 4. I am looking very good in the playoffs this year, but in the Stanley Cup Finals, I'm 2-5. Every bet's being plus units, so down just 2.92 units, but up 13.5 units in the playoffs, but clearly not reading the Stanley Cup Finals correctly. And I'd like to kind of script the way I see the rest of it going, because we were able to do that beautifully after the first 3 games of the Lightning Rangers series. Please welcome to the show our NHL expert coming to us from Belleville, Ontario, Mr. Gogster in the house. Gogster, how are you, my man?
What's going on, guys? What's going on, Jim? How are we doing today? Yeah, we're going right after it, guys. Game 4, the odds minus 110 on each side. You know, that's just telling you right there. It's a coin flip, in my opinion, Jim. Yeah, everyone in the chat, good to see y'all. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. You know, Darcy Kemper, is he going to get the start? That's another question I've been hearing, guys. Some of the coaches I heard in the pressers there, they're saying, they're going to give Kemper the start there, coach? He's saying, no, that's a possibility. That's a possibility. So whenever you hear that, you think he's getting the start?
I'm certain that Kemper will be the starting goaltender.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I'd rather, you know, he's been great off of his couple losses against St. Louis. He's looked pretty good. I got some notes on there we can talk about, but yeah, it should be a good one there, guys. I'm looking forward to this game 4. Jimmy, you still got a chance with your 5 games. You know, we get this Colorado. You'll have that you called it in 5 games, no?
I did call in 5 games. I didn't bet it, so I'm not too concerned about it. But I'm just gonna let that go. There's so many moving parts in this series, and so I'm just gonna let that go. There's Dutch Boy Fresh. By the way, Dutch Boy Fresh finished his spectacular season.
I think you're right, Richie.
I did tweet it out last night, just a thank you to Dutch Boy Fresh, because he brought so much to our show every Thursday, and it was just very exciting to work with him. Overall, Dutch Boy Fresh, 55 wins, 37 losses, 59.8%. Wow. So he missed that 60 percentile by 0.2%, plus 15.72 units, ROI plus 17.09% with an average line of minus 103. Absolutely spectacular. There it is. Thank you, Slatsy. That's easy for me to copy and paste. Thank you. I don't know why it didn't come up here in the last one, but there's Slatsy's action. All right, let's go. First off, the Kemper talk is deserved. 8-3-0 in the playoffs, 2.76 goals against average, 892 save percentage. And if there's a bunch of advantages and disadvantages between these two very skilled hockey teams, and the biggest advantage that one team has is in between the pipes. Clearly, Vasilevsky, 2.57 goals against average, 920 save percentage. And JPZ says, yes, the Daily Sesh debuts today at the Smokers time of 4:20 Eastern. That's Dutch Boy Fresh.
Very convenient. Very
Gabby Cab today at 4:20 p.m. Eastern. And moving forward, I think it's every day, 4:20 p.m. Eastern. We'll have to hear from them, but that's very, very exciting.
That'd be, boys.
Okay, so then we go to the power play. Clearly, the Avalanche power play is extremely dangerous. Wow. Brent Bibby with a $50 dono. Brent, thank you so much, man. God, we are extremely lucky to cap with guys like you, man. $50 dono. Thank you. Thank you. It means so much to us here at Pop Sports Radio. It means a ton to us.
Baby.
It's huge. Thank you so much. What a guy. What a guy.
You better pull it a winner here now.
Peace and love, everyone, except the books. All right, we got to step our game up, Gogster.
Yeah, we
$50 don't from our Brent Bibby in the house. Thank you, Brent. It means a ton to us. The power play for the Lightning, 20.3% in the playoffs, 77.9% penalty killing. Their special teams haven't stepped up very much. Let's talk about what we know. We know that Burakovsky for sure will be out of the lineup. 6'3", 201 pounds, 22 goals, 39 assists, 61 points, plus 12. Played 16 minutes and 5 seconds in the regular season. His playoff average time is actually just a little over 12 minutes. So this is a team of depth, and he hasn't played as much as we thought he might, but it's a loss. Nazem Kadri, I said yesterday, I do not think he's going to play tonight. It looks like that's pretty much confirmed that he won't play. He's not taking one-timers. He has begun shooting. Why in the world would you risk him when you're up 2-1 in a series? I think that dictates everything.
Similar to when they're resting Kucherov there with the Rangers series, I believe.
Exactly. Oh, is it not Kucherov? It was Point.
Or sorry, Point. Sorry, what did I say? Kucherov. Kucherov's banged up, though.
So Kadri, 28 goals, 59 assists, 87 points. He was plus 13, playing 19 minutes a game. So take Burakovsky, Kadri out of the lineup. Big Ragu says, I'm seeing sharps on the under. A ton of sharps on the under. And we'll talk more about that here in a second. Braden Point will be out of the lineup for the Lightning like he was in Game 3. I'm not sure what to – it sucks that he's hurt. But clearly he's not comfortable out there. And – it sucks that he's not available. So at this point, why do we think money's coming in on the under? This is the highest scoring Stanley Cup Final so far through 3 games since the Islanders and Canucks back in 1982.
Wow.
So that
I don't know if that holds up.
Yeah. It's just not one of those things that we would expect would keep going over and over and over again. We talked about the record 8 straight playoff wins at home. That's the franchise record for the Lightning. And Colorado losing on the road for the first time. We've talked about that. And the main thing here is for me, and I'll hand it over to you, and I have not bet it yet. And I came very close to taking the Lightning -1 and the Lightning team total over 3. The reason why I didn't was because I just don't want to have a clear bias from what I saw in Game 3. But what I can say here is the one angle, other than goaltending, that I know is something that we can kind of quantify and that exists, and that's home ice advantage. And home ice advantage will exist in this playoffs until the Lightning are in an elimination game, and then we have to count on Vasilevsky's unbelievable statistics.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I think if Kucherov is okay, which I think he is, and that's a risk betting on hoping someone's okay, then the Lightning would be the play here. And losing Kadri and Burakovsky takes a lot of the depth away from this Avalanche squad. And the Lightning know how to win without Braden Point. And Kemper is a sieve, and he's vulnerable. And if Kucherov is good to go, the Lightning will score. If Kucherov is hurt, the Lightning are going to go into a shell and barely do anything. So Biggeroo says, I'm contrarian here on the total. I think Bolts keep pressure on, then revert. Saturated says, was it me or does Tampa Bay seem to be the more physical team after the last game? I think so, after the last game. But it might be partly because of what's going on with home ice advantage and the crowd chanting, we want the cup. Take it over, Mr. Gogster, Stanley Cup Final, Game 4.
Well, let me get right into Kucherov here, guys. Kucherov, I think, is playing about 60%, Jimmy. That's what I have down here. He took a cross-check from Devon Taves and caused some discomfort, I guess, and he left from what I have here near the end of the game there. They're up 6-2. There was actually no goals, guys. Even all the way from about halfway through the second period, there was no goals in the third, too. So Francouz came in, did look good. But Kucherov, from what I'm seeing, Jim, he's floating. He's predicting puck movement, as a good hockey player does. Conserving energy on the ice for 60 minutes. So right away, that's not screaming over. You're also missing Point. The guys that have been stepping up for Tampa Bay have been Perry, Paul, Palat, Cirelli. These are their second, third line players. So, but then on the other end, guys, Colorado, they're also missing some guys too, Burakovsky and Kadri. So More we're talking about this, the more I'm leaning towards Colorado, to be honest here, guys. Cale Makar too, guys. We want to talk about this. He just won the Norris. I think that only boosts a young player. It gives him more just confidence. And another thing, Jimmy, too, Colorado, they gave the puck up way too much in that third game. I watched the recap just before I jumped on the show just to get a fresh memory of it. And they gave up the puck. It's not like Tampa Bay were really just forced a lot of those plays. A lot of them were just lazy, sloppy defensive plays from Colorado. So from what I'm reading too, guys, is Colorado, they've been talking about being more even-keeled, not leaving their goalie out to dry if it's Kemper or Francouz. So that leans me towards a little bit of an under as well. But it's a tough game, Jimmy. The more I'm really going back and forth. I had Tampa Bay written down, guys. The more I'm thinking about this, I think Colorado's looking at the expected goals too. This is the last thing I wanted to look at before I jumped on the show. 6.68 expected goals from Colorado last game, guys. They jumped all over them after the 6-2 win from lead from Tampa Bay. As you're up 6-2, you don't got to pound the puck. You don't got to force anything. They sat back. You're going to rely a lot on Vasilevsky in the first 5 minutes too. You saw that save there, Jimmy. The 2 toe saves from Vasilevsky, the deflection off Hedman, and then the save there on the rebound. Vasilevsky is going to have to be really, really good, and he's been okay. He's 1-2 with a 4.31 goals against and an 8.79 save percentage against Colorado. And when I just last week on the show, guys, I said this guy hasn't had good numbers dating back to 2019 against Colorado. I to be honest, and what I've seen in the first 2 games, guys, like you talk about recency bias. I maybe we have one here, 6-2. That's a lopsided win, but Colorado, that was their first loss on the road, and that was in Tampa Bay. They haven't lost at home, Jimmy, since that Toronto game 3. So you can make cases for each side, but I think moneyline Colorado, if I had to, gun to the head, I'm gonna take Colorado on the money line here.
Well, you don't have a gun to your head. You don't have to make an official pick. I don't think a Kucherov situation is that big of a deal. I really don't. I don't think he's at 60%. He wouldn't play, and I don't think he's at 60%. And I think we all know you can get, frozen and shot up, and be fine.
Yeah.
So I just think it adds a layer of intrigue and excitement around Kucherov. And I think Cooper was playing it up. I honestly do. I think he was playing it up for the storyline, for Kucherov. I really do think Cooper was just setting up this beautiful storyline. And so Razor says Colorado either scores 5 or lets up 5. Not sure how the over doesn't hit again.
It's a really, I can make cases for both sides here, Jimmy. I feel bad I'm on this show, supposed to be giving out fucking
no, you don't.
It's winners, right? But it's
okay.
It's a really tough cap. Francouz, we didn't bring up Francouz's numbers. He's 6-0 with a 2.84 goals against and a 0.906 save percentage. Guy hasn't lost yet, too. So, and what I'm reading, Colorado's they're trying to be a little more accountable defensively. Now, is that their style of hockey? I don't necessarily like that. I want them to still be able to attack. I don't want them to. They have to keep up your shooting. They have to outshoot the opponent. Sorry, guys. It's Colorado, in my opinion, Jimmy. I just think they're the quicker, faster, better team. Just not trying to think too much about it. I really do, and I don't think Kucherov. He's been money. He's 9 goals, 17 assists in 20 games. He's the heart and soul of this team. But it's. I have to say I'm gonna rock with Colorado, guys. That's my cap. And as you say, you figure out what works for you, and my gut's telling me Colorado here.
All right. Do you want to make that official?
I'm making it official too.
All right. Let's pull up your line. So after talking this out, I think that the issue is between the pipes, and to think that Francouz could change the storyline, I don't agree with. I don't think there's much of a difference. But Kemper in the second half of the year was very good, and he was your number one goalie, and you have to have faith in your team and not panic when you're up 2-1 in the series. So I would be absolutely just gobsmacked if Francois starts the game. I just don't see. I just think it's a bad look coaching wise.
Well, I agree too. I think the team knows. A lot of things I've been reading too. They've said Kemper's bounced back. They believe in this guy. The whole team's behind Kemper. They're nothing against Francois or anything like that, but they're just, they believe in this guy. He's been good. That loss against St. Louis, he came back 2 goals against. Lost against St. Louis, I believe it was Game 5. Came back 2 goals again. So he's been good, and that's against St. Louis. That's a good hockey team too. So I believe in Colorado. And another thing too, I think Nathan McKinnon's going to score a goal. That's one thing I wanted to bring up too. I think he's been where you haven't seen him, and I think he's going to have a game tonight. I really do. He hasn't scored a goal, but he's been right there. 1.41 expected goals last game and didn't score. That's actually one I want to add on here, Jimmy. I'm going to look that up really quickly. Player props.
Yeah, look it up. Turnsy's high on McKinnon.
Yeah,
I just think this is tied up going back to Colorado, and then we bet Colorado in Game 5. Now, this is me believing that Kucherov is okay, and I stand by that. And it's kind of risky when you make bets with that assumption. But as the series goes on, the advantage will move to the Colorado Avalanche. But right now, they're crazy for hockey in Tampa Bay. It's not like when Carolina won the Cup and there was a barbecue for 400 people. They're nuts for it. And when I was down there, a month and a half ago, and everybody's wearing Lightning gear. Everybody's talking about the Lightning. If they hear that you're from Canada, all they want to do is talk about the Lightning. And Dan Bonner says, gentlemen, sweep, Avs win in 5 in front of their fans.
Me and Danny Bonner are always on the same side. I swear that's what I'm leaning towards here, guys. I think they're just too good. And Vasilevsky, he when a goalie makes that many saves, guys, I don't know. I don't see a shutout by any means from Vasilevsky. I think this is Colorado's gonna. I think Colorado first period too. To be honest, Jimmy, that's another one. Do I want to double up here? Because if Colorado, I don't see Colorado coming back from really like a 1-0, 2-0 first period. I think they're going to be up, and Tampa Bay is going to be a little on their heels, which they do not play well. The Tampa Bay wins this game, they're going to want to be up. That's how they usually have been winning. If Colorado's up 1-2-0 in the first period, Jimmy, that's very bad for Tampa or Colorado. Colorado's up 1-2 goals in the first. It's very bad for Tampa Bay. So Real Deal Prime's with me too here. Avs win. Avs money line, baby. Elliott V. I got a couple people in the.
You do, and right now there's only 6,733 tickets in. Canadian Captain said, I just think too many Tampa Bay key players, not 100%, can't keep up with Avs speed and skill. We're talking about an Avs team that's missing 2 of their top 6 forwards. But yes. So you guys are the Sharps are on the Avalanche. There's only 6,733 tickets in, but 35% of the tickets on Colorado, 80% of the cash. And then the huge bets are coming in on the under. 53% of tickets are on the under and 99% of cash. So some enormous bets have come in on the under.
Tampa Bay team total under plus 125. I'm seeing it's kind of tempting, 2.5.
Rob Free says, I'll continue to roll with the over. Nothing wrong with that. And we talked about that when the series started, that the overs were going to be heavily in play. That was a big angle that we had because the Lightning were going to be able to score, and they hadn't been able to score in these other series. But part of that cap was that Braden Point was going to become healthier. And so that maybe is a
one thing too. One thing too, Colorado was so bad defensively. They're not going to be that. They're not going to be that bad defensively like last game. Paul scoring too. Like they didn't look good. Like I was watching that recap, and guys, they were giving the puck away a couple times. Like just bad plays. Devon Taves too. That pass across in his own zone, 2-on-1 coming back there, and then left the little give and go with Stamkos and Palat. Left Palat wide open in the middle of the ice. Just defensively, now you could say maybe they're just falling apart, but Colorado's better than that. We've seen it. So I think they're going to have a solid bounce back game here. And Kemper should be all right. Vasilevsky, we've seen him steal playoffs, but I think he's going to have this one. Colorado.
Well, it's exciting breakdown. Gogster on the Avs. I'm on the Lightning. And look, it's easy to get uncomfortable when you make a bet thinking that, oh, is this just a bias from what we just saw?
One more thing too. Another Dan Bonner saying Rantanen to get an assist. He's my favorite play. This guy, I swear to God, Jimmy, he's not necessarily trying to score Rantanen. He just knows how to get awkward saves for the goalie where you're going to get rebounds. The one that goal, one of the plays, guys, Rantanen was right in front. He took a shot on Vasilevsky. It's like he wasn't trying to go top shelf or trying to necessarily score. He was trying to go for the rebound. Got the rebound. Vasilevsky was looking for the puck, and that's when Landeskog came in and poked one. I do like that play on Rantanen as well. I just think they're smarter hockey team too. Now, Colorado or Tampa Bay's won the last two, but man, guys, this Colorado's time. We all think it's Colorado's time. Jimmy, I hear you on Tampa Bay, but I'm gonna rock with Colorado here, brother.
Sounds good. Did you want to add the McKinnon prop or not?
Yeah, let's rock with McKinnon. Yeah, because if Colorado's going to win, I think, I even
so
first.
The McKinnon goal?
Plus 149. Yeah, anytime goal score for McKinnon here is plus 149. That's at Pinnacle. If you even want to get nuts, guys, add some of your books. I know there's a first goal scorer prop. If you want to throw Nate McKinnon in there, maybe Rantanen too. I wouldn't mind that.
Dave, the Lightning have sold out something like 60 straight home games, something like that, but it's bananas in there. It's fucking bonkers. And
it's just Colorado started. Yeah.
We want the cup, and they have the best goalie in the world. And we saw the Buffalo Sabres take care of home ice against the Dallas Stars when the Dallas Stars were a much, much better team. Why did they do that? They had the better goaltender, and the old auditorium was going nuts, going fucking bananas. And there's something to be said about that.
Hard to win 3 cups.
Yeah. Look, I'm talking about Game 4.
I know. I'm just trying to make cases for Colorado.
We're back, eh? Gogster, last time you were on, you slandered me after tailing a play of yours. And Gogster, I'm doing it again. And I hope that you slander me again because we won very comfortably last time. I'll take the Nate McKinnon to score a goal prop as well.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, we'll ride together. I believe in nasty Nates. So give me that nasty Nate McKinnon. And I also shout out to real nasty Nate as well.
Shout out to Nate.
All right, you got it plus 149. I don't know what Scotty's saying about not filling the attendance. It was their 60th straight sellout, and it was nuts. So, you can call Lightning fans weak. You can say anything you want. That's fine. Gogster is on the Avs. McKinnon anytime goal. Say Hey Play Today is on Nate McKinnon anytime goal.
Yeah.
And I am on the Lightning and the team total over for the Lightning, which I will cheat to 3 to get a plus line.
You're on the over team total Tampa Bay, Jim?
Yes, at 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's just nuts in there, and Kemper is a sieve.
Yeah.
And if Francois comes in, what are the 2 biggest advantages? If you want the 3 biggest advantages, I would say they go in this order. The third biggest advantage is probably, I would say the third biggest advantage is home ice. Let's say home ice. The second biggest advantage is Avalanche's speed. And the biggest advantage is Vasilevsky over Kemper.
Tell him.
So if those are 2 of the 3 advantages, then
the thing for me is I think the second and the first one should switch spots.
You think that the team speed's more important than?
Well, no, I don't think it's more important. I just think their speed is gonna overmatch in tie, like overmatch 7-0. I know that was at home, but the team scores 7 goals. On your best goalie who didn't get pulled too. That's not a good sign. So, yeah.
Well, I do not. I completely disagree. The biggest advantage in this series is the greatest goaltender of all time,
And he
against
is
a fucking sieve.
He is. Yeah. We'll see here, Jim.
We will.
I got a lot of people in my office there, where I work. They're all saying Tampa Bay. I tell them I do the show. They're like, you better be taking Tampa Bay. So, well,
It's a public spot, but I'm not. I've never been afraid of being on a public spot in the NHL.
no, we'll see, man. We'll see. I look forward to coming back tomorrow and talking about this game and talking about the next one in Colorado and also CFL.
Yeah, we saw your big score with the missed kick.
Plus 360. Holy fuck.
I love it.
2-1 plus like 4.5 units, something like that. It's been fun.
I love it. I love it. Great stuff.
Whoever loses does a shoey or eyes. All right, Jim, right there. Whoever loses does a shoey. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. Yeah, I guess I got a beer in there.
I got a cold Miller always in the fridge.
I think I'd rather do a shot of fucking.
No. I heard I'll do a shoey. I heard you got a beer. I heard all of that.
We got to put that in the fucking
house.
Okay, fine. Loser does a shoey on tomorrow's show.
Love it.
All right. Much love, Mr. Gogster. Follow our guy Gogster on Twitter at EGO47_. And much love, buddy. Looking forward to talk.
Can I talk about my PGA golf
yes,
show a little
please,
bit for you guys?
Yeah,
guys. So me and Connor, we do a show every Monday. We did it Tuesday yesterday. We got a 6-pack for you guys. We're going Sung J M. We're doing Seamus. I can't say his name. Seamus Power, Mark Leishman, Maverick McNeely, Mito Pereira, and Jason Day. All first-round leaders as well. I tweeted out my action. Check it out, guys. Ego47_.
Das Boot. Das Boot. Oh, man. Only the older guys would laugh at that, but maybe I shouldn't be laughing that hard. But I love Das Boot. Das Boot is so funny. Okay, let's move on. There's Bet It with Brad as well. Bet It with Brad Thomas. What a great capper. It's great to see you in the chat. All right. Razor says, I love Jimmy, but would love to see you do a shoey. Go Avs. Yeah, it would be my first shoey. All right, let's get into MLB. Coming off another nice winning day, 8-5 plus 2.51 units. And we're 0.7 units away from double digits profit on the season, now hitting a 54% on the year. And those are not with the best lines available. Those are with what I bet at Bet365, which adds another layer of trickiness because Bet365, there's a reason why my local axe is Bet365 because their odds are trash. All right, that's Buddhist terrible. Okay, let's get to work here. There's Red Girl in the house, but let me talk a little bit about your special guest. I've always felt that he was the best MLB capper amongst us, and he's showing that here. And what I thought about his last show was 2 weeks ago on a Wednesday, was we all got killed on that Wednesday. It was a weird day of baseball. We all got hurt badly, and Nolly still went 4-1. And that made it even more impressive. On a day where things were kind of out of whack, he still was very good. He's 8-3 here over 2 shows, hitting at 72.7% plus 4.8 units. The ROI at 43.64%, average line -106. And he was 4-1 2 weeks ago, plus 2.93 units. And it was even more impressive when it was just a crazy day of baseball where everything sort of went backwards. But Nolly stuck to what Nolly does, and Nolly got that cash. Coming to us from Long Beach, California, we got LBC in the house. Please welcome Nolly Knows to the show. Nolly, how are you, my man?
Doing real well, Jimmy. Always a pleasure to be here. Really excited to be here. Hopefully we can turn it around. Actually had a rough day yesterday, so maybe being here is what's the good luck charm, not me. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man.
I love it. Let's get right to work. Jojo, Rich, everybody ready to go. You're getting a lot of love from the chat. D, Jenkins, Real Deal, Prime, Lotus, Scalper, Elliot V, AOD, Paul Trippy. You're getting a lot of love from the chat. Let's get right to work here right now. We start 2:10 p.m. I've not made a move on this card because what's working for me is clear. It's just so clear as day. And that's not to trust myself, Nolly. That's it. It's easy. I have no problem doing that.
Oh, man. Okay.
Look, the play that jumped out at me yesterday was Dodgers Reds, and the under, and everybody was on it. And I even said in our chat, I was like, "Look, guys, that's the first play that jumped out on me at me, so I wouldn't bet it."
Oh man, wish you would have told me.
Like, it's the public play. Our eyes are just looking at a public play. When what's working with me is capping everything out with you guys and then making decisions. Let's get to work right now. Derek Parr says, you like Pete Alonso to hit a home run today? Well, let's talk about this spot. 2:10 p.m. Eastern, New York Mets, 45-25, 21-15 on the road at Houston Astros, 42-25, 19-11 at home. We're at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. It's hot. Roof will be closed. We have Cookie Carrasco on the bump going up against Luis Garcia. Let's talk first about the line history in this one. We have the Astros opening up, and shout out to Ron Crawford for the Astros on the spreadsheet play today. Yesterday, there was a ton of people on the Mets, and Ron Crawford on the Astros, and that was an easy cash for him. This opened up with the Astros at minus 125. They've taken the market's moved towards them in 5-cent increments. We now have them at minus 140, 15-cent move. This total opened up at 8.5 minus 115 to the over. It's now 8.5 minus 120 to the under. Minus 120 to the under. Let's take a look at where the cash lies in this one. And where's this Mets spot? Here we go, down the bottom, because Interleague, 7,817 tickets in. 43% of the tickets are on the Astros and 72% of the cash. So that all makes sense why the market's moving towards Luis Garcia and the Astros. Then 47% of tickets are on the under and 97% of cash on the under. So big bets have come in on the under. And so that explains the move to the Astros. That explains the move to the under. Carrasco, 8-2, 3.96 ERA, 1.25 whip, 75 Ks and 75 innings, 6 home runs. He hasn't had a season with a lot of innings since 2019? I wonder if we could see Carrasco deal with some arm fatigue here down the stretch. He's coming off a 10-4 win at home versus Miami, and that was impressive because we see what Miami is doing to righties. He went 6 1/3, 8 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 7 Ks, and 2 walks. Luis Garcia is having a nice season, 4-5, 3.41 ERA, 1.03 whip, 69 Ks and 66 innings, 12 home runs allowed. His last start was 9-2 win at the Rangers. 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 9 strikeouts, and no walks. Both teams hit righties hard. Mets 267, 749 OPS. Astros 241, 739 OPS. Mets bullpen 3.76 ERA, 1.26 whip, converted 18 of 29 saves. Diaz can be shaky at times, but not bad. Astros bullpen is unbelievable this year. Absolutely unbelievable. Who would have thought they'd be this good? 2.59 ERA, 1.11 whip, have converted 18 of 22 save opportunities. Big Ragoo says the Mets always give Carrasco runs. And Big Ragoo, I'm hoping you can do the show tomorrow. I meant to message you. Maybe if I do it publicly, it'll put some pressure on you to do the show tomorrow. I'd love it if you could. Take it away here. Nolly Knows. First game on the board, Mets Astros.
Yeah, Jimmy's good at that. But we got Luis Garcia on the bump for the Astros. Definitely a question mark here, especially the way he's looked at home. He's been a lot better on the road, given like a 2.13 on the road, 5.14 at home. But one thing also during the day, 2.75 during the day. At night, it's been a 4.20 ERA. So maybe he's in line for a good start here. Hard for me to get a good read on him, especially against these Mets. You talk about how hot they are, but one advantage that he will have, they haven't faced them. Only Mark Canha has faced them. 2 for 4 with a home run against them, and no one else has faced them. So maybe he has an advantage here against the Mets, but I'm a little undecisive. Cookie Carrasco on the other side, yeah, he's pitched well, and you said something exactly that I've been thinking about over the last 2 seasons, really. Down the stretch, what's going to happen with Carrasco? He's definitely going to fatigue. He's not a young gun in his mid-20s. He's an older guy, so I think the innings are definitely a concern with him. When we look at his overall numbers here in the year, he's looked pretty good. He's been off and on at times, but he's also looked better during the day. This season, he's been 3.22 ERA at home during the day. At night, 5.04 ERA. And that's something that's been a track record with him. When you look at his 2 best seasons, probably 2016 and 2017, during the day, 1.94 ERA during 2016 on the road, 387. And 2017 also a whole run lower during the day. So he seems to be a little bit more comfortable during the day. So I think that may be a spot to look at. I lean towards the under here. I like both these pitchers in certain spots, but with Luis Garcia, the way he's pitched at home, I'm a little undecisive, and the way these guys can bat, it's tough. You know, the addition of Yordan Alvarez back into the Astros lineup was huge for them yesterday. I think that's what ultimately set it off. I lean towards the Astros and the under, but I'm off the game ultimately.
Yeah, I'm off of it as well. Sorry, I didn't have my mic on. I was just computer mic. I apologize for that. Mic's on now. But there's a question about if you like Pete Alonso to go yard today from Derek Parra. I know that's a kind of a tricky question to answer, and you already mentioned that there's not a lot of history with Luis Garcia, and you're leaning towards an under. So if you put that together, you'd probably say that that's not something that you would be betting.
I mean, it's a little tough, I guess. Tough for me to say. He has given up 7 home runs at home in 28 innings, but yeah, not really, not an angle for me today. I like too many pitchers today, so I didn't really get into too many hitter props.
Dave Redling saying Garcia plus Astros bullpen equals Astros win. DC says Astros are 5-1 their last 6 games as a home favorite between -110, -150. Christopher Comentini says Carrasco over a 5 ERA on the road. And the Astros offense had cooled down quite a bit, but I guess, you know what? Carrasco's last start was impressive against the Marlins team that's raking, but his home road splits. Wow, look at that. Panthers hire Paul Maurice as coach. Wow, that's wild news, Brian. I sure like that better than Pete DeBoer going to the Stars. David Liss saying Mets have an 80% win rate after losing on the road. So can you give me one angle that's keeping you off betting the Astros full game here, let's say on the -1 line?
I guess Luis Garcia, the inconsistencies, a lot better without runners on base. Mets get a couple runners on. He's not rocking the baby as much off the stretch, so it doesn't look to be as comfortable. Would say, like, even though his numbers are worse at home, he has pitched well at times at home, even against the Blue Jays. And so I think he's still capable of putting it together. But just ultimately, there are other games that ultimately stuck out to me more. If there is less games out there, maybe I'd be on this game. Astros ultimately still the most profitable under team in the game. And so that's the first thing I look at with them.
Yeah, I have a lean towards the Astros full game to take care of business again here. Chris Ricard says Mets lineup looks good. Smith back in. Mets team total over. Von Polo says, what's up with all these athletes passing away or being murdered? The Caleb death rocked me way harder than any athlete's death has in the last little while. My heart just went out to him. God damn. I knew that he was going through all this stuff because he was an obese 13-year-old, so he had to train so hard to not, to be the player that he was. And there's a comedian friend that recently passed in Calgary who had dealt with the same obesity issues. And the problem is that you go into a pretty deep depression because of it all. And watching my friend go through it and then knowing what Caleb must have gone through. And because my friend didn't feel any of the highs that Caleb did, my heart just broke for Caleb yesterday. That one hurt. That one hurt real badly. He was such a nice guy. And so, yeah, Paul, look, life is unrelenting. And it doesn't give a fuck about what you're going through. You could be going through the biggest loss of your entire life and nothing changes out there. They don't give a fuck. And so it's tough. It's tough. And one of the things I always think of is that we have this. Because there's a lot of things that can bring you down in life, but not us capping together. So, but yeah, fuck Caleb. God, that hurt. It sucked. 25 years old. And it was just so recently he was Oh God! And when he was on Purdue, what a monster he was, and God. Okay, but yeah, Von Polo, we're all noticing it, and it's not getting any better. So thankfully, we have this and a very exciting game to cap next. 2:10 p.m. Eastern. Toronto Blue Jays 38-30, 17-16 on the road at Chicago White Sox 33-33, 15-17 at home. Guaranteed rate field in Chicago, Illinois. After the shit monologue I gave you about the Dodgers winning a fake championship, the Blue Jays have fallen apart. I definitely jinxed them with that. Thankfully, I haven't been on them often, but there are real problems with this bullpen, and they need to be fixed pretty soon. And it just feels like this brass here in Toronto thinks that they can just wait all the way till the trade deadline, and then they'll catch fire after the deadline, instead of thinking, let's do it right now. Let's fix this bullpen immediately and not slip too far behind the Yankees. We're at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago, Illinois. Let's start with the weather here. Those Southside jerseys looked so good yesterday as well. I need to get myself one of those. 83 Fahrenheit, 6 miles per hour out to right field, goes between 6 and 6.7 miles per hour. Then we'll take a look at the line history in this spot. We have the Jays opening up at -115. Initially, and this was before yesterday's game was over, they get up to -130. Then it drops to -120, back to -130 this morning, and now it's all the way back to where it started. So there's been a 15-cent move towards the White Sox from 6:50 a.m. to 8:24 a.m. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 9.5, and at 9:15 a.m. it moved to 9. So let's see where the cash lies. I think this will be illuminating here. We have remember yesterday, Sports Insights only gave one team half line value and nobody else anything. There's quite a bit of half line values and one full line value. But here, Giolito and the White Sox are given half line value. 8,612 tickets in. 70% of the tickets, 77% of the cash is on the Blue Jays. Then 67% of tickets, 68% cash is on the over, even though it's dropped a half run. So this is a little tricky. I do not trust Stripling against strong offenses. Stripling can shut down weak offenses. He's shown that this year. But against tough teams, I'm nervous. He's coming off that 12-3 loss last Friday at home versus the Yankees. He went 3 2/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 Ks, and 2 walks. Giolito looks bad. And I can't wait to hear your thoughts on what's going on with Giolito and whether you can trust him moving forward. 4-3, 4.78 ERA, 1.49 whip. He got lit up by the Astros last out in Houston. 5 innings, 7 hits, 8 earned runs, 2 homers, 3 Ks, and 3 walks. Jays are hitting 249, 735 OPS versus righties. White Sox don't hit righties at all. 243, 655 OPS. We expect that number to improve. And both bullpens have been alarmingly bad this year. Dave Redling going Pollard, Vaughn, Robert, over 1.5 bases. White Sox team total over. Blue Jays team total over. Jay Peasy says Blue Jays play worse without Springer. No doubt about it. He's a real straw that stirs the drink. Take it away, Nolly. Fascinating game. Blue Jays, White Sox.
Yeah, definitely some concerns when we talk about Giolito over the last 4 games, actually starting against the Toronto Blue Jays. That's when it all started. 4 2/3, 8 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 home runs. And that's a big point, is the home runs. Over the last 4 games, he's given up 7 home runs. Inability to keep the ball in the ballpark. Command has been a big issue, letting the ball run across over the plate, hanging it over and not hitting the spots. And that's a concern. We've seen the same issue with him back in 2018, who had his worst year of his career with 6.13 ERA. Are we going to start seeing the same guy? Here in this month, he's got a 7.88 ERA. So definitely some concerns here with him going against this Blue Jay lineup, who are trying to defend the sweep today. So that's a big issue and something that sticks out in my mind. Ross Stripling, I understand some concerns with him, kind of thrust into the starter role, more of a long relief guy for the Blue Jays, but kind of had to be used with some of the injuries over there. And he started off doing well. And I don't think he pitched all that bad against the Yankees. 5 hits, 2 earned runs, was able to get out of certain spots, but ended up throwing 84 pitches early. A big part of that, Yankees fouling off pitches. They were able to foul off 27 pitches, in which was a lot different throughout what you've seen with him as a starter, getting a lot of swing and misses typically, and he's looked good as a starter with a 3.03 ERA and a 0.95 WHIP, 27 strikeouts to just 4 walks over across about 27 innings. So I think Ross Stripling has looked decent as a starter, and against this White Sox, they hit lefties significantly better. And not to say they don't hit righties, they still hit 243 against righties, 456 slugging. But I would give the slight advantage towards Toronto in the starting pitching. So I definitely lean towards the first 5. I haven't pulled the trigger, but I'm close to it.
Yeah, I guess you were right. I guess you were right. And looking at Derek talking about home run props with Vladdy. I mean, he's had 10 at-bats against Giolito and not gone yard, 3 for 10, no homers, no ribbies. Alejandro Kirk, what a beast he is. 333 against him. So he's 2 for 6 with 2 homers. I do not trust. I think you were right. Kemper now confirmed, Puzzler said. I think you're right that there's probably a slight advantage with Stripling. But that's not going to change the fact that I just don't trust him against good teams. I understood why the Dodgers got rid of him, and I could understand why the Jays picked him up. I mean, he just can't be one of your top 5 guys. If he is, you're in trouble. He's got to be the arm out of the bullpen that can go deep when a starting pitcher falters. I just don't trust him, even though he's been good of late. And then when we go to, let's just look at the splits here for Giolito quickly. With Giolito right now, we have at home, he's been good. 2-1, 3.38 ERA. It's on the road where he's been touched up. 9 home runs in 34 innings. I can't move on it. DC says overs 4-0 in the White Sox last 4 home games versus right-handed starter. Great stats, DC says overs 6-0 White Sox last 6 home games. Overs 5-0 Blue Jays last 5 games versus starter with a whip greater than 1.30. Real Deal Prime says trust Ross over Barrios. The thing about Barrios here, and anybody who wants to live bet the Blue Jays games when Barrios starts, is they broke down the stats with his breaking ball. And his breaking ball on the days that he loses has 4 inches of less movement, or 3.5 basically of less movement. So it's like a 14 inches of movement on the games that he loses. On the games that he wins, that breaking ball is 17 inches of movement. That's a big part of the strike zone. If his breaking ball is not on, he must be faded immediately. As soon as you start see that first inning go or the first few pitches, you live bet the other team because it sets up everything for him. And it's a strange thing when you can tell whether a pitcher has it that quickly, that immediate now when he pitches. But if his breaking ball's off, he's just got nothing and he's useless. So something to keep an eye out for. Everybody's talking about it here. Barrios, he's got the huge contract. He's going to be here for a long time. So he's talked about it in all the radio shows right now. I'm going to stay off this spot here, but I guess if I had a free bet, I probably trust this late market move to the White Sox. I probably do. Probably trust Giolito getting right here at home, not trusting Stripling and White Sox first 5, and not trust either bullpens. But I don't want to do that here. You gave us Giolito's June 7.88 ERA. So if that's a 7.88 ERA here with one home start where he got touched, yeah, I just got to stay off of it. Are you making any moves here officially? Nolly, are we moving past it?
No, I'm off. I'm close to that one. We'll see, but it'll probably go off. What time is that going to go off? Pretty soon.
It goes off in 2 hours and 4 minutes. So your lean then would be towards Blue Jays first 5 or Blue Jays full game?
Blue Jays first 5. You mentioned the bullpen there last time with Stripling on the mound. The bullpen was the one that gave it up in the 4th and 5th inning against the Yankees.
There was no move, Raymond, on the Mets game, but I'm leaning towards taking the Astros full game -1. I'm leaning towards. See how much action I have before I make a decision there. Let's move on to 4:05 p.m. Eastern. Philadelphia Phillies 36-33, 17-16 on the road at the Texas Rangers 32-35, 15-18 at home. We're at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. The roof will be closed. Zach Wheeler going up against John Gray, the Gray Wolf. Let's start with the line history for Gray and Wheeler. It opens up with the Phillies at -145, being a 5-cent move towards the Rangers. That's it. 5-cent move towards the Rangers. This total opened up at 8 at a pick'em. It moved to 7.5 at 7:09 this morning. We look at the cash flow in this one. We have, sorry, pull this up here we have 7,944 tickets in. 78% of the tickets on Wheeler, 88% of cash. 45% of tickets on the under and 82% of cash on the under. And we've seen it drop to a half run. A lucky power going to the over 9 in that White Sox Jays. I'm not involved in that one. Wheeler coming off a great start at Washington. 7 innings for its 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 3 Ks, no walks. He's 6-3 with a 2.69 ERA, 1.04 whip, 78 Ks and 70 1/3. John Gray coming off an excellent start as well at the Tigers, who don't hit righties or don't hit anyone. 7 innings, 5 hits, no earned run, 6 Ks, 0 walks. He's been good this year. 2-3, 4.27 ERA, 1.20 whip, 63 Ks in 59 innings. Phillies are hitting 245, 717 OPS versus righties. Rangers don't hit righties. They hit lefties much better. Against righties, 234, 665 OPS. This Rangers bullpen has been a real pleasant surprise. 3.60 ERA, 1.22 whip, converted 16 and 27. The Phillies bullpen has been bad as expected. Take it away here. Nolly Knows. Phillies, Rangers.
This game pretty interesting to me. I think when you talk about Wheeler, I think pretty good is a big understatement here. The guy's been pretty lights out. 8 of the last 9 games have been quality starts. 4 of those games giving up 0 runs, gave up 2 runs, 2 games, and gave up 1 run in 2 of those games. So didn't even give up 3 runs in 8 of the last 9 appearances and going at least 6 innings, a couple of those going 7 innings. So the guy's been really good over the last 2 months. In the month of May, 1.65 ERA. In the month of June, 1.42 ERA. 60 strikeouts to 7 walks over the last 2 months in just 51 2/3 innings. The guy has been looking really good, and I'd expect that trend to continue. Maybe get some strikeouts against this Texas Rangers team that seems to be striking out at a high clip recently. The question mark more so is on the other side with John Gray. John Gray, and up until the last start, was off and on since back to early May, but was able to put back-to-back quality starts together going against the Detroit Tigers, which AJ Hinch even mentioned it after the game in a post-game interview, talking about he tips his cat to John Gray, but also we've been doing a lot of that recently. So I'm not sure what to take of that, but I still think that the guy looked good. Hinch still mentioned later in his interview how good some of his stuff looked, and how he used some adjustments throughout the game, and how him being a veteran helped him throughout that game to be able to go to the lineup. And against Philly, he's had some success. In 2021, last year, he went 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs against them. In 2019, also 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 0 earned runs. Those are the last 2 starts against Philly. So I'd expect him to have a good start here once again. And so to me, I was a little bit hesitant, but I ended up pulling the trigger on the first 5 under 4.5.
Wow, you got a 4.5 on that first 5 under? That's gorgeous. It's 3.5 for me right now.
No way.
That's beautiful. Let's see what Pinnacle is offering. I guess that's when you need to attack early. I'd love to. That's a beautiful pickup. I even thought when I was looking at the 3.5, I was like, I could even move on that. But, geez, you got 4.5. Unbelievably nice. Right now at Pinnacle, the 4 under 4 is -118. So it's not awful. Well, Nolly, if you got that 4.5, I guess you're not going to want to. I mean, having a win in a 2-2 game is a real nice situation for you to be in, even a 3-1 game. So do you want to stay off making this official with the big move to the under?
Yeah, but I'm crazy that you have 3.5. So I still got 4s. But
Well,
I mean, even the 4 is a big difference, you know. But
yeah,
no, I'll stay off. I'll stay off of this one.
but if you bet this when the line came out, 8s generally come with a 4.5. So
I just didn't know that. I didn't check that. Sorry.
No, that's it's a great pickup. And getting the 4.5 even juiced would be a very nice spot to be in. A very, very, very nice spot to be in. Okay. Yeah. So right now with the 3.5 is at plus 100 for me. I wonder.
4.5 is minus 135 at Bovada.
Wow. 4.5 is minus 190 at Bet365.
Holy. Why is it such a big difference? God damn.
It's just a book that just milks us and takes all our fucking money. I can't wait till I'm done with it. Very, very.
That's why I was a little shocked there.
All good. But I can see why at this point, Joey Marinaccio says John Gray could blow that himself. I think that John Gray's showing some really nice signs this year. One of the interesting things about his splits, Nolly, is he's all year he's throwing 12 innings at home. And this is his first year, obviously, right, with the Rangers. So he doesn't have consistency. Right? Am I tripping out? Was he there last year? Sorry, let me just make sure that I'm not tripping. Yeah, he was with Colorado still last year. So he's only thrown 12 innings in his career at home, or in this home at Texas. So, and he's coming up 3 straight road starts. So it's unclear how he's going to be, but I get it. Did you want to make that 4 official or the 4.5 heavily juiced? Do you want anything to do with it?
No, we'll just stay off the game. There's others.
This is one of those spots, though. Clearly, it would have been best to get on it early. These things will happen, but I have a question about this line. We have a 5-cent move towards the Rangers, and all this money coming in on the Phillies. That makes me think that Gray's going to have a nice start here. I think you're going to cash this. Reginald Lucas is under full game, first 5 under. One of those spots where you can't. I just don't think you should chase lines. Nolly's not doing it here. I mean, he's already bet it. I mean, obviously, the most important thing to him is cash coming in with his action rather than an official record here on the show. That's probably going to keep me off of everything in this game. That's too bad. Okay, let's move on to 4:10 p.m. Eastern. Next up, Arizona Diamondbacks, 32-38, 50-19 on the road at San Diego Padres, 43-27, 19-13 at home. We're at Petco Park, San Diego, California. We'll start with the weather in San Diego. We have 77 Fahrenheit, 10.1 miles per hour, slightly in left to right, stays around there, 10 miles per hour. Move over to line history in this one. Go over here. Line history here. Here we go. A 5-cent move to the Padres. That's it. 5-cent move to the Padres since the opening line, and the under has not moved, sitting at minus 120. When we go to the cash flow in this Padres spot, we have half line value on Madison Bumgarner. According to Sports Insights, 4,463 tickets in. 15% of the tickets, 31% of the cash on Arizona. 46% of the tickets and 99% of the cash on the under, and yet the line hasn't moved. Very strange. Very strange. Bumgarner was a nice casher for us last Friday. We got him on the plus 110 on the first 5. He looked great. 6 innings, 9 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 3 Ks, 1 walk, and a 7-2 win at home versus Minnesota. The problem is the Padres hit lefties pretty well. 246, 726 OPS. But Bumgarner's been good this year. 3.45 ERA, 1.32 whip. Clevenger on the other side, I'm not sure what to do with him, and maybe Nolly can shed some light. So here we have a pitcher who's thrown 19 innings. His last appearance was 5 days ago. It wasn't a start. He went 2 innings, allowed 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 Ks, no walks, and a 10-4 loss in the thin air of Colorado. His last start was back 17 days ago on June 5th. And even in that start, he only went 3 innings, allowed 1 hit. It was a solo shot, 5 Ks, and 2 walks, and a 6-4 extra inning win at Milwaukee. Diamondbacks are hitting just 211, 672 OPS versus righties. We already talked about the Padres numbers versus lefties. The Padres bullpen is becoming elite. Right now, 3.45 ERA, 1.10 whip, 23 of 33. And Pete Loshak let us know about this bullpen a month ago when their numbers were not good. And I said they were below average, and Pete was like, no, they're top 10. They're doing better than that now. Diamondbacks bullpen, 4.22 ERA, 1.39 whip, converted 17 of 25. Ixnizzle liking no run in this one. Nathan Cerna says, give me -1 -165 on the Friars. Says the Diamondbacks are 0-5 versus Western teams. Jake Burns liking the first 5 over 4 here. Christopher Comentini asking whether Machado's in. I'll look that up. LJ from H-Town says Padres 21-10-1 under to the under as a home team. 16-9-1 to the under as a home fave. Take it away here, Nolly Knows. Diamondbacks, Padres, interesting pitching matchup and lots of question marks around Clevenger.
Yeah, definitely question marks around Clevenger. He did go on the COVID list, and that's the reason that they ended up throwing him in the bullpen. Coach talking about trying to get his feet wet before they just throw him in there in the starting role once again. And so that's still a concern for me when we talk about whether or not he's going to go deep into this game, going against an Arizona team in which he has never faced, but still an Arizona team not exactly hitting the ball that well. They ranked 29th and 30th in batting average and bottom 5 in almost every offensive statistic. They did get Ketel Marte back last night. Didn't really do all that well, coming off a few days off, but I'd expect him to get going off that hamstring injury. The other side for Bumgarner. Bumgarner's had some success recently against his San Diego team, so I can understand some love on that side. The San Diego team that definitely missing Machado. Machado, a huge piece for this team and a big part of why they hit lefties so well. He's destroying lefties this year. And so him getting back in the lineup, I wouldn't expect it, but if he does, that'd be huge. You know, this is a ball club that still ranks 23rd in home runs, and he's the one that leads them in home runs with 12 home runs. You know, you got other guys hitting for average, but not really too many home runs, not too many power. This is a team that ranks towards the bottom in hard hit percentage and exit velocity. So not a team that's really hitting the cover off the ball, especially missing one of their top guys. Bumgarner's last 3 starts against him went 3 innings, 1 hit, 1 earned run this year. And his last 2 starts last year on back-to-back starts went 6 innings, 9 hits, 2 earned runs, and then in San Diego going 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs. So he's shown the ability to shut this team down more recently, and he's coming off a really decent start. So I'd expect him to have a solid start, but are these bats going to be awake? That's a big question mark for me, and even taking the total. You know, I'd like to take an under. I took the under last night at a 7, but I didn't have as many question marks, I feel, as with one of the pitchers. So in this game, I'm going to lean towards the Diamondbacks on the first 5, ultimately off the game, though.
And what are your expectations of Clevenger here and moving forward? Does he become a starter in this rotation? Is he someone that we can trust moving forward?
Yeah, from what I understand, everything they say is their full intentions to being a starter. The only purpose of that bullpen was to get his feet wet and get him going again. So that just leads me to believe that he's not fully ready to go a full workload. That's the way I would interpret that. And so that's a concern for me.
I think there's a value again on the Diamondbacks first 5.
And also I forget to mention the reason he really is pitching today and the reason he gets thrown into the starting spot today. I mean, they say that that's the ultimate goal, but Musgrove went on the COVID list, and this was typically his day to start. So that's another reason why he's thrown in there. Another concern.
Jorge Alfaro hitting 444 with a jack. Cronenworth 375 with a jack. Hosmer 250 with a jack. Let's just go over to the expected lineup here. I mean, it's clear Bumgarner is finding his rhythm right now. So Nola hits him hard. And then these guys, there's not a batter in the lineup in Arizona that's ever seen Clevenger. John Taw, what's happening? Great job yesterday. I think the full game under and the Diamondbacks first 5 makes sense to me. I guess the one concern I would have, and maybe I should just let it go, and I think I will let it go, is that we have the full game under being why I'd let go. There's 4,539 tickets in. The public is sort of on the over, but all the cash is on the under. And yet, Bet365's not moved this total. Why would they have not moved the total?
They're getting
that
50-50
is
action.
concerning to me. You know?
It's close to 50-50.
The tickets, you mean?
What was the money? Well, I don't know. I don't.
The 54% of the tickets are on the over and 1% of the cash. Now, there's not a big sample size, so one bet has come in and skewed all that. So I'm going to cut that under 8. And then I guess there's value here with Bumgarner, I guess, but the thought process with Clevenger here, he didn't look very good when he didn't start here. Maybe he doesn't know he's going to go long, but they've never seen him before. Okay, so I think I'm going to move on the Diamondbacks first 5 at a plus price, but I'm going to put some question marks beside it, so I'll look over it a little more. And you lean towards the Diamondbacks first 5, and you lean towards the under 8, but you're staying off making anything official?
Yeah, I'm close to making pulling the trigger on the full game under. But you know, Petco still overall, even during the day, still pitcher's ballpark, and overall they're 21-10 to the under. So I definitely I'm leaning there. I'm close to it, but maybe later we'll make it official.
Okay, interesting. I'll wait to hear if you do pull the trigger. Luchase Fox talking to the stock traders in the chat, and Millsy's daughter is celebrating her 9th birthday today. Says need that birthday pick. What's her name, Millsy, so we can give a proper shout out to your daughter's 9th birthday. Nakara, 9 today. That's so exciting, man. Congratulations. 9th birthday, man. That's exciting. Okay. Lee Davis kind of leaning to the over. I'm not going to move on the under with all that money on the under and Bet365 not moving it. But let's make sure that we have well knowing that we need to give a birthday pick here for Nakara. 9th birthday for Millsy. Oh, that's sweet. Okay. All right. Let's roll on. Johnny Gonzalez says, I think Cleveland mediocre at best, and I'm from Clevenger, I think you meant. I think Cleveland. I think Clevenger mediocre best, and I'm from San Diego. Okay, we'll move on. Next up, 6:40 p.m. Eastern. Colorado Rockies 30-38, 11-19 on the road at the Miami Marlins. 30-36, 16-14 at home. We're at Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida. Chad Kuhl going up against Pablo Lopez, who doesn't look right. Haven't said that about Pablo Lopez in a couple years. Let's take a look at the line history here in Miami. This loss on the Rockies first 5 really got me yesterday. There has been a 30-cent move towards Pablo Lopez and the Marlins. Opening up at minus 170, there was as big as a 40-cent move, but it came back 10 cents 14 minutes ago. Minus 170 to minus 200 now. From a total perspective, it opened up at 7.5 and is down to 7. It is minus 120 to the over. Let's take a look at the cash flow in this one. 5,485 tickets in. 82% of the tickets, 82% of the cash on the Marlins. 85% of the tickets, 95% cash on the over. And yet it's dropped a half run. That is tricky. Matt Pollin's wondering if any of you guys are making moves on the College World Series. Jump in there if you guys are. And here we go. Rockies, Marlins, Chad Kuhl coming. He's been good. Chad Kuhl's been really good this year for the Rockies. 3.69 ERA, 1.42 whip. The whip is high, 27 walks and 63 in the third, but he's only allowed 6 home runs in that 63 in the third. At last start, 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, just 2 of which were earned, 7 Ks, 2 walks, and a 4-2 loss at home to the Padres in the thin air. That's impressive. Pablo Lopez coming off getting lit up at Citi Field by the Mets, 5 in the third, 8 hits, 7 runs, 6 of which were earned. Rockies are hitting just 251, 696 OPS versus righties. Marlins hitting 253, 738 OPS. Both bullpens have struggled, but the Rockies back end of the bullpen, even though they have 4.70 ERA, 1.38 WHIP, have converted 19 of 25 save opportunities. Marlins bullpen's been bad, very bad over the last 3 weeks or a month or so. What the hell's going on with Pablo Lopez and Chad Kuhl for that matter? Do the Rockies have an advantage on the bump? Because the market surely doesn't think so. What do you think?
I'm sorry, you cut out a little bit.
No
Honestly, yeah, the last start for Pablo Lopez was a little bit shaky, but he did get pushed back. They didn't like his bullpen on a Monday bullpen. He was supposed to start on Wednesday. They ended up pushing it back with a little bit of concern. And then all of a sudden, Friday, in the middle of the day, they decide Pablo's starting. So it's a little bit weird for me, and I believe that just it threw him off. He gave up 3 runs in that first inning, settled in a little bit, and then gave him up later in the 6th inning. First inning's always been a concern for Pablo. He's got the highest ERA of most of his first 5 innings in that first inning. So he gets through that first, and he should be fine. But here, coming on regular day rest and going back home where he's in his career, he's naturally always pitched better. This season hasn't been that much of a concern, but you look just last year, a whole 2 runs better at home, 2.34 at home as opposed to 4.34 on the road. So that's something that's known about him, and I'd expect him to pitch well. He's pitched well against Colorado. He pitched against them on May 30th, went 6 innings, 3 hits, 0 earned runs. Last year on June 8th, 2021, went 8 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 8 strikeouts here at home in Miami. So I'd expect Pablo to be Pablo and come back and be what he do what he does. The concern on the other side would be Chad Kuhl, a guy that actually has had a decent year, 4-4, 3.69 ERA, like you mentioned, high WHIP, but when we look at it, he's been getting lit up by one division, the National League West. Versus the National League West, he's got an 8.0 ERA. Versus everyone else, he's got a 2.0 ERA. Versus the National League East, he's got a 0.98 ERA. So I'd expect him to come in here and pitch well against this Miami team. He pitched well against them last year in 1 start, went 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. So I'd expect Chad Kuhl to come in here and do his thing against these Marlins, and I'd expect Pablo to do his thing. So there's one way I'm looking under. I got a first 5 under 4, but Jimmy's booked stingy. So what they got, 3?
Well, let's shop around. We don't need to focus on my shit-ass book here, but I imagine they'll offer up a 3.5 heavily juiced. No, they're offering a 4. Wow. It's interesting. It's down to 7. And they're offering a 4 on the first 5. Wow, that's fascinating. I was thinking it would be a 3.5 and it'd be juiced. Not the case. Let's see what we can get you around. So did you say you got a 4 or 4.5?
4.
4. Okay, cool. Let's see what we can get you here on the first half of Pinnacle. They have the 4 at -119. We have the 4 here at -115 at Bet365. Interesting. I don't think I've ever seen Bet365 with a 7 and a 4. Well, I don't know why they'd be trusting these bullpens. Let's see if Circa can give us a better look here on that first 5 under. Let's see here. Strange. I truly don't think I've ever seen that. Here we go. The Rockies, Marlins. It's still 7.5 here. And the first 5 total is 4 at -109 at Circa. You want to move on that?
Yes, sir.
Huh.
It's a couple of bucks better than me. I got like 112, I think, something like that.
First 5 under 4 at -109. Ulysses Hayes in the house. Great to see you, Ulysses. Would love to hear how you're betting game 4, the Stanley Cup Final. And also, those of you who don't know our guy, Ulysses, ping pong gambling expert and cashes. And I've seen huge tickets from him, ping pong action from Ulysses Hayes. And he's on Twitter. So if anybody else caps ping pong, Ulysses Hayes eats. And I love the man. John Todd has a 4 at -120. Matt Paulin says Marlins won last 7 is home faves. Favorites have won last 11 Marlins games at home. Wow. Okay. Can you explain why this first 5 would be at 4 and the full game would be at 7 with these bullpens that are trash?
I don't know. In my opinion, that's the way it should be, regardless. 4 runs for 5 innings and 3 runs for 4 innings. I think that's the way it should be set up, anyways. But the books are the ones that's been stingier and stingier every year. But so I used to be able to see that maybe like 4 years ago, but since the DeGrom changed that, DeGrom changed that up. But I believe that's where it should be. It opened up at 7.5 and 4s, and that's typically what I'd see. And the 7.5, I guess more people taking it full game, but expecting Pablo to go deep. So even if Pablo gives it up early, he comes back and shut it down. Like I mentioned, early inning woes for him.
First 5 under 4 -109 for Nolly. And that's the first official spot on Nolly's card here on the show. Although he has the first 5 under 4.5 in Philly Rangers. It's just not available anymore. And some books have moved to 3.5. And so he's not going to take a juiced 4 at -118 when he has the 4.5 already. So really he's got 2 spots, but 1 official pick here on the board. And we also want to mention that we are planning a big trip to Atlantic City, and Slaughter, our leader's goal is to pay for everybody's hotel rooms. So that's the plan, is we want to cover everybody's hotel rooms. We want to get a group rate at a casino in Atlantic City and cover everybody's hotel rooms. So we are raising funds to do just that. And we have a buy a beer fundraiser going on right now. And we're trying to hook everybody up so that all you have to do is get there. And also, it's not just hotel rooms. He wants food covered as well. So he wants to cover food as well. But I'm not sure. But our goal is to have $10K to put into the trip, to put into everybody. So Jose is going to pop that in the chat here. Oh, he did already. So it's a buy me a coffee or buy me a beer. And we don't have a date yet. We're just trying to raise money first. So we're just going to focus on raising the funds right now. Saturated says, does this cover Jose's Golden State Warriors jersey? I bet you he'll get that gift from one of us at the trip. Okay, let's keep rolling. But there it is. And Jose, I'll pop it in the chat again another time. And I'm going to try to mention it every day here on the show because we want another get-together badly. Let's move on to 6:40 p.m. Eastern. The Los Angeles Dodgers. Man, have they been good to us. I had an inability to bet them, Nolly, in the beginning of the year. And I was watching Lotto Cappers, CMAC, one of them cashing on the run line with them. And I was feeling like the -1s were just too juiced. I couldn't figure out how to make money off of them. Then all of a sudden, I just started betting Gonsolin starts. First 5 -1/2, full game -1, and just watching the units go up and up and up. Now, yesterday, I didn't take the first 5 because I had some fear that Molly would have a nice start. But I did get that full game -1. Jay Peasy says, real low baggers buy a beer. Jay Peasy bought us 10 beers. What a guy Jay Peasy is, man. We're working on locking down the booth for you to get into, pay for the studio time so you can just go in there and do your thing for us so we can have you as our intro songs. We're working on that, Jay Peasy. Okay, let's get back to this Dodgers Cincinnati Red spot. Jerry Young says, if it's in Cincy, most likely whoever wins will win by more than 1. Brian Watson says, hate LA, but made me money. Ulysses Hayes on the Blue Jays money line. Logus Scalper is Dodgers going to go on a run. LJ from H-Town says, Dodgers are 6-1 last 7 games, the second game of a road series. That's a nice stat there. We're at the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. We'll start with the weather in this very offensive ballpark. And it is 90 degrees at first pitch, but feels like 99. And it's 10.4 miles per hour out to right center. Very offensive weather again, which you have to believe helps the Dodgers more than the Reds. Dodgers, even without Mookie, are hitting 254, 766 OPS versus righties. Tyler Anderson on the hill. What a nice bounce back for Tyler Anderson after getting shelled by the White Sox. In his last start, he goes 8 1/3, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 8 Ks, 2 walks, and a 4-1 win at home versus the Angels. Notice that. And Pete made a real important point of it on yesterday's show, which is why we were backing Martin Perez. He was saying that the fact that a lefty gets lit up by a team that smashes lefties, a lefty's having a great season, doesn't mean you don't just go right back to the well with that lefty. and we all cashed on Martin Perez yesterday. And Tyler Anderson was an easy cash in that 4-1 win at home versus the Angels. And I don't think I was on him too, which was a mistake. Luis Castillo has been good this year. 2-4, 3.33 ERA, 1.09 WHIP, 46 innings, 43 Ks, 15 walks. In his last start, it was a 7-4 loss at Arizona. He went 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 6 Ks, 2 walks. And I believe I lost the first 5 at least last Friday on Castillo, whom I like to back. This Dodgers bullpen, 3.35 ERA, 1.14 WHIP, converted 17 and 24 save opportunities, has been very good. The Reds rating, as I said, 246, 711 OPS versus lefties. So not bad numbers against lefties. Let's take a look at the line history in this Dodgers spot. We have, God, just like yesterday, a move towards the Reds, this time 20 cents. Didn't scare us yesterday. Will it scare us today? Also, this total opened up at 9.5, and it went down to 9 this morning. It back to 9.5. With that kind of offensive weather, it's hard to believe that this would be a 9 or even go down to 9, even though it's back at 9.5. 9,696 tickets in. They're giving line value at this price. Now, just a sliver, maybe 18% line value or something like that on the Dodgers and Tyler Anderson. 93% of tickets, 92% of cash on the Dodgers, and a 20-cent move to the Reds. In any other situation, that would scare me off, but it hasn't scared me off the Dodgers. Then 56% tickets, 56% cash on the under. And when I say it hasn't scared me off the Dodgers, I mean lately. Not necessarily in this spot right here. Take it away, Nolly. Your Dodgers in play at the Reds.
Yeah, this game's a little interesting, but I'd say it's a little bit different than when we consider the game as opposed to yesterday. Tyler Amalie, I don't believe is the same level of Castillo. Castillo, to me, is a much better pitcher, and he's proven that in a much better track record against these Dodgers. Dodgers in 2021, he faced them going 6 1/3, 5 hits, 0 earned runs, 10 strikeouts. In 2019, went 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 7 strikeouts. So he's been able to pitch well against the Dodgers, and he's pitching well. You look at it, 2 of the last 3 games, he's giving you a quality start, and he's pitched well over the course of the entire season since coming in late. And so the guy that I like to back and the guy that I trust off and on often, because even his nickname called the Rock, the guy that's the Rock, the way he throws the ball past pitchers, past batters, is like throwing a rock, the way it goes by everybody. And so I'd expect him to have a good start, albeit the Dodgers are starting to hit, and the ballpark does seem to scare me a little bit, but the Reds are not. The Reds are 3-9 the last 12, averaging 3.4 runs per game, and that's going to be a concern again going against Anderson. Anderson pitched well against them. 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run against them already, and I'd expect him to have another quality start against a Red team that really not hitting the ball all that well recently, and I'd expect a quality start. To me, I got burned yesterday. I was on that public play trusting Mally. But Mally, if you look at his numbers, second time he's been lit up against the Dodgers, so it really wasn't that big of a surprise. Anderson, Castillo having much better numbers. I took the first 5 under 5 again here today.
Interesting. I get it from who's on the mound. It just scares me. This ballpark is just set up for offense. Let's see what we can give you on the first 5 under here. Let's go. Here we go. We're going to start with Pinnacle and see what they're offering. They're offering that first 5 under 5 at -108. Circa gave us a really nice line. Let's see if they can do that again for us in this Dodgers spot. And that would be the first 5 total. They've moved it to 4.5 at +104. So is that okay? The first 5 under 5 at -108?
Yes, sir. That works for me. I got 110, so right there.
All right. Nolly is on the first 5. First 5 under 5 at -108. John Todd is on it as well. Jerry Young says Jonathan India back at least gives Reds a spark plug. Christopher Comentini says, do the Reds hit lefties? They do. 246, 711 OPS. Lotus Scalper also on that first 5 under 5. Luchace Fox says Reds could not hit water if they fell out of a boat. DC says looking like Dodgers plus the under. Wondering what scores 8-0-7-1-6-2-5-3. There we go. Nolly on the board, first 5 under 5 at -108. And the weather scares me. Let's go back to the cash here again one more time. Sort of a coin flip situation. 55% of the tickets on the under, 56% of cash on the under. Very interesting that it dropped to 9 from 9.5. Okay. Is from a side standpoint, do you understand the market move towards Castillo? We had a great stat that that Tyler Anderson is a fly ball pitcher, 44% fly ball rate. So do you understand why that move is towards Castillo? A pitcher that you trust more than Anderson at this point, who would probably have a spectacular.
I mean, overall better track record overall in his career. But I just believe Tyler Anderson is just a different guy, changing the grip on his changeup and using it a lot more, and just a different guy with a lot more confidence. So I definitely trust him here again.
All right, let's move. Harrell Williams just dropped in for your play in the NHL game tonight. Well, I can tell you what, it's a very fascinating situation. The Sharps are on the Avs. Sharps are on the under. Mr. Gogster is on the Avs, and Nate McKinnon to score a goal, anytime goal. So is Jose Bouquet is on Nate McKinnon, anytime goal. And I'm with the public. I'm on the Lightning, and I haven't bet it yet. I wanted to talk it out. And I would say that I have a little bit less confidence than I did coming in. Maybe a little bit less confidence. But I'm going to be on the Lightning and the team total over 3. Okay, and Raymond Reichart, yes, I promise you that we will revisit that. Ulysses Hayes also with me on Tampa Bay Moneyline. Okay, Nolly, first 5 under 5 at -108. Let's keep rolling. And we come to 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Chicago Cubs 25-43, 12-18 on the road. Pittsburgh Pirates 28-39, 16-19 at home. We're at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we've come to the spot on the board where the star of Say Hey Plays of the Day joins us. And we get to hear how he is moving on this very fascinating game with a 31-year-old journeyman, Jarek Eichhoff, going up against Keegan Thompson, who had a hell of a bounce-back start. Please welcome to the show your star of Say Hey Plays of the Day, Jose Zenyatta Bouquet in the house. Jose, how are you?
Doing well. Had a good day yesterday. Can't complain. Still have not caught me yet, Jimmy, but good day nonetheless, and excited for today, obviously.
I want you to, I can't, this is enough. I don't look at where your number's at. I just want you to win. I want us all to win.
Sure,
but
that's what you do.
If it pushes
you, make it a competition.
Okay, if it pushes you to be a better capper, then you can be as competitive as you want. But I am cheering for you with everything. I really want you to succeed this year. And we're all very proud of your season thus far. What is your record at right now in Say Hey Plays?
Yesterday we went 3-1, basically making the same play 3 times, which is hilarious. And it ended up working out for us really well. But 3-1, and yesterday I was 3-1 in total. 223 and 215, up 11.63 units on the year. So back in the double digits, having a good time.
Feels like a nice place to be double digits. I've not had that opportunity to wake up double digits. I would love that feeling. And Dennis Garcia says it as succinctly as can be here. And it is Jose is a winning capper.
I just want to know what the show is.
Yes, nice to see your newfound jersey here joining us. Okay, Let's talk about this spot here. We have Jose and Nolly here to break it down. We will start with the weather in Pittsburgh. 83 Fahrenheit, feels like 88 at first pitch, and 9.7 miles per hour out to right center. Offensive weather in a stadium that's difficult to produce offense in. Then we'll move over to the line history here in Pittsburgh with Thompson up against Eichhoff, and we have a 25-cent move to the Chicago Cubs. That's a big move, 25 cents over to them. And we had a huge move yesterday towards the Pirates, and that was right. We have a 5-cent move towards the over. This became available to bet at 110 this morning, and then within 28 minutes, it moved to the over 5 cents, but then it has not moved since. Let's go over to the cash flow in this Pirate spot. Just 3,871 tickets in. 62% of tickets and 73% of the cash on Keegan Thompson and the Cubs. So that all makes sense. Then 73% of tickets, 72% cash on the over, but the line has not moved. Interesting. So let's talk about Keegan Thompson. What a bounce back effort in that win at home over the Braves. I remember, who was it that asked me? It was a great question. And I know he's in the chat right now. I just can't put my finger on it. But when I said that you had to fade the Yankees because they had a 7-game-plus winning streak and we're switching cities, they said, well, aren't you going to fade the Braves then? Because the same thing is there. And I was like, I couldn't. It wasn't comfortable with Keegan Thompson. And they won that game. The ROI on that bet, even though I lost with the fading the Yankees, the ROI is enormous. And the Cubs showed it with a 1-0 win at home over the Braves. He went 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 9 Ks, 2 walks. Eichhoff, 31-year-old journeyman, has not been good at AAA Indianapolis. The Cleveland team changed their name from Indians, changed their name to the Guardians, but the Indianapolis Indians are still there. They have yet to change their name, surprisingly. 4-3, 4.84 ERA, 1.08 WHIP, 47 Ks and 48 in the third, but he's allowed 8 home runs and 48 in the third against AAA opposition. What's going to happen here? His actual career MLB numbers aren't that bad. They're fine. Cubs versus righties, 241, 698 OPS. Pirates versus righties, 221, 655 OPS. Cubs bullpen, 4.78 ERA, 1.35 WHIP, converted 14 of 25 save opportunities. Pirates bullpen, 4.08 ERA, 1.31 WHIP, converted 15 of 26 save opportunities. And in other sports, when you have a journeyman like Eichhoff trying to resurrect his career at major league level, people would rally, the team would rally around him. Here, I don't know if any of these young Pirates care or even think he should be on the mound. They probably have a friend they think deserves the spot over Eichhoff, which is a really fascinating angle. But let's hear what Jose has to say. Cubs, Pirates, take it away, my man.
I told you guys, I think it was it's been one day I think of it now, but I said the day that Cruz came up that these Pirates might get on a little run. I bet on their team total yesterday, Jim. You were speculating on if it was a -1 or team total for them yesterday. It was a team total. Cashed in like the third inning, no sweat, no problem. I think that's what I'm going to probably keep doing. I was really debating whether I wanted to take them first 5 or team total because looking at the weather on Ballpark Pal, like you kind of mentioned, and Nolly, since I'm glad Nolly is here, he's the chief of weather as well. 15-mile-an-hour wind blowing in from right field to left field. I don't know how that makes me feel about offense and such, but I don't want to back Eichhoff here. Simply, I've got Jared Eichhoff on the Phillies in my head, so I've got no desire to want to back him. But the line is really telling me that I think it's very interesting that it's a close line here, and I kind of expected maybe a little more respect for Keegan, and the total is pretty high as well, even though that the wind might be howling in as well. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and take Pirates team total over 4 -115. I got a little cold feet when I looked at the weather, like I said.
Where do you see the wind coming in?
Ballpark Pal. I've got it. It's going from right field to left field, coming in a little bit.
Jeez, because I have straight out to center or right center at 9.7 miles per hour. Let's just take a look at RotoWire.
That's weather. They say it's unpredictable.
That's nuts to me that it would be we'd be this off. And RotoWire has 10 miles per hour out as well.
Well, then beautiful. I still like the team total, like I was saying, team total over 4 -115. I'm gonna keep riding these Pirates bats. Cruz is. I thought the funniest comment I saw yesterday was that they have literally Jaylen Brown playing shortstop for them. It's the same height as Jaylen Brown. So I got a great laugh out of that. And I'm going to keep riding Cruz and this energy that the Pirates have. And I'm going to keep on fucking raising it, Jim. I'm going to keep on raising it. And one last thing, I forgot to mention this, I got this jersey, obviously. Shout out to my guy, Tupakiga, whatever, Marcano. I can't say his name anymore, unfortunately. But
practice it.
Yeah, I'll keep practicing. But I got this lovely lady. Her name is Carol. DM'd me asking me about my jersey and such. Just asking about the quality because obviously us Pirates fans, it's hard to find quality Pirates jerseys, especially with our new call-ups. And after doing all that, I might be getting a signed Tupachicha not jersey, ball, I should say. So I might be getting a Marcano ball here soon, and that'll be great. Maybe I'm giving out my address to a stranger that'll come murder me. Who knows? But I'm excited to get my my Venezuelan brother on the ball collection.
If you were to be killed by this person, it would just add to your legend. So don't.
It would.
do
I
that.
think. Do you think the Pirates would have to put a little patch on their jersey for me? I think they would. I think they
No,
put.
but we would
TV up.
here betting with the bag. And we'd also do a montage with real sad music. So
No, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. I can already see it. We could just use the 2021 montage and just put sad music over it and me getting drunk, and that'll be really good.
I'd like that. I'd like that. Now you did call Nolly the weather chief. A couple words I've never heard put together before. Let's hear what the weather chief has to say about this spot. So, sorry, Jose, you got Pirates team total over 4. Was that minus 118 or what? 115?
15.
115. All right, Jose is on the board. Let's hear what the weather chief has to say about this. Nolly, take it away. Cubs, Pirates.
I mean, I don't know how to take that, but but I mean, we'll get into it. Keaton Thompson, guy that definitely got the stuff to be a great pitcher. Struggled against Baltimore, struggled against the Yankees, couldn't get out of the first inning. And Ross, pretty simple, just told him throw more fastballs. He used the fastball a lot more, went out and had a great start against a good hitting Atlanta Braves team. Was able to shut them down. 6 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 9 strikeouts, 2 walks. Now facing a Pittsburgh team that I admit they do have a spark. You've seen even with Detroit bringing up Green, it does spark them. These guys bring a lot of energy, and you see a guy playing 6'7" and doing the stuff that he does. It's pretty amazing. But I do expect Thompson to have a good start here. He had 2 good starts already against Pittsburgh. Went 5 innings, 4 hits, 0 earned runs. Went 4 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs. 4 strikeouts, 1 walk. So 9 strikeouts, just 1 walk against this ball club. So has had some success against him, and I'd expect him to continue that. He gained a lot of confidence last time out, and still a guy that's learning how to pitch at the major league level. Still only the second year here in the MLB, and I'd expect him to have a good start. The other side is the big question mark. Eichhoff, like, what is he even doing here? That's what I'm wondering, So how am I going to sit here and try to back him and the Pittsburgh Pirates? There's just no way. I will say that I somewhat disagree with Jose's bet, but it wouldn't be the first time nor the last. But I didn't mean nothing by that, Jimmy. Don't laugh, Jimmy. Come on.
No, it's okay. No, you don't like me. It's all right. We clash heads. Let's do it. I'm ready. I'm ready to fight for my Pirates.
Oh yeah, your Pirates. All right, yeah. Keep rubbing that in, man. Keep rubbing it in. I'm letting you right now. Yeah, but it's all right. But yeah, for me, honestly, it's just a lot of question marks in the game. But I like what I saw. Excuse me, I can't spit it out. I like what I saw out of Thompson the last time out, and I'd expect him to continue to roll off of that. And so I'd lean for him to have a good start. Just don't know if I'm going to attack it in any way.
I enjoyed this all very, very much. Could you do me a favor, Jose? And here, let me pull this up. Could you please repeat Luchase Fox's comment?
Word for word?
Yeah.
Do you want me to potentially add some flair to it or something?
I want flair. We want flair.
Okay. Well, let's prepare ourselves. Warm our hands up. All right. Pirates suck, but the Cubs are the Cubs. We're winning today.
Oh, okay. It never gets old. I don't know how it never gets old. There you have it. Jose Bouquet is on the Pirates team total over 4 at minus 115. He's wearing his jersey. He's getting people. He's making friends because he's a Pirates fan all of a sudden.
So that's why the hair looks like that?
No, I wish that was it.
Seaman.
Seaman. Nice. Okay. Nice. All right. Say hey, play today's on the Pirates team total over 4 at minus 115. Okay, there we go. Cubs, Pirates. Billy Friedrich says the meat of the Pirates order is vegetarian. That's Billy Friedrich. His thoughts on this. And we have a lean towards the Cubs from Nolly Knows, but no move. Lean towards the Cubs, but no move from Nolly Knows. That's fair. All right, let's move on then. 7:05 p.m. Eastern, and this is the one game with a possible weather delay or rain out. Let's see what RotoWire has to say about this one. Do they think this one will go? Here they have. Oh, sorry. There we go. It is in red, 56% chance of rain. So let's see what the Swish analytics have to say about this one. We have, rain. This game doesn't go. 49, 53, 62, 70%. Just more and more rain in the forecast in Charm City. So I do not expect this game to go. And Patrick Corbin, Tyler Wells, is there any reason to discuss this spot? Is there any angle other than wanting to fade Patrick Corbin? Let's just see if there's been any line movement in this one. And we don't need to spend too much time or break it down fully. But there has been a 25-cent move to the Orioles to fade Corbin. And this total's gone from 9.5 to 9. Lee Davis is getting robbed of Corbin Day. Do you have any notes on this, or should we just skip it as it looks like it won't go?
I didn't really write notes down, but I knew Wells has looked good of late. He looked really good last time out, so I definitely lean towards Baltimore. But I expected rain and didn't really want to get into that game anyway.
Yes, I think that's the best thing to do. All right, let's move on from this spot, not waste time, as we got big games coming up. And one of my favorite pitchers in the league is on the bump, Tariq Skubal. And I wanted to fade him for the first time. I don't remember if I have faded him, but I really wanted to fade him with John Gray, and I just didn't have the balls to do it. And Gray pitched a gem, and Skubal got touched again. And giant shout out to Pistol Pete Loshak, who got us on the Tigers' first 3 yesterday at plus 145, which cashed as the first 5 it did not. Tigers, Red Sox, Fenway Park in Boston. Let's see what we're dealing with here weather-wise in Boston. 66 Fahrenheit. Strange that it's not warmer in Boston. 9.4 miles per hour right to left, dies down to 7.1 miles per hour. Let's move over to the line history in Boston. Skubal against Waka. We have Red Sox opening up minus 145. They get up to minus 160. There was a 15-cent move towards them. And then since then, actually really since 6:50 in the morning, it's been all Tigers. So Tigers have gone from a plus 140 at that point all the way down to plus 115. 115. Let's take a look at the cash here in this one. In this Tiger spot, we have 9,091 tickets in. 20% of the tickets, 20% of the cash on the Tigers. 42% of tickets, 68% of the cash on the under. And that total has gone from 8.5, and it just dropped to 8 an hour ago. Dropped to 8. And here we go. Matty Ice, taint play of the day is in. Says, let's rebound off that double taint disaster on Friday. No problem. We believe in you, Matty Ice, and we love you dearly. Tigers, Red Sox, first 5 under 4.5 and minus 115 for the taint play of the day. Coming, and he is a Detroit capper, and he's making moves on the first 5 under 4.5. Skubal allowed 5 earned runs, a homer, 4 Ks, and 2 walks in that 7-0 loss at home last out versus the Rangers. 3.13 ERA, 1.08 whip. He's been very good this year. Allowed 5 home runs in 74 2/3, 79 strikeouts, 14 walks. Going up against Michael Waka. Waka coming off a good start in the 6-5 win at home over the Cardinals. 5 1/3, 6 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 5 Ks and 1 walk. He's 5-1 with a 2.28 ERA, 1.03 whip, 41 Ks and 17 walks. He's allowed 6 home runs. The Tigers are hitting just 215, 586 OPS versus righties. Red Sox are hitting 259, 756 OPS versus lefties. The Tigers bullpen has been very good. 3.18 ERA, 1.17 whip, converted 16 of 21 saves Red Sox bullpen has converted the same 16 saves, but in 30 attempts. 3.85 ERA, 1.22 whip. Ulysses Hayes is on the Boston money line. Take it away here. Nolly Knows. Tigers, Red Sox.
Yeah, this is a definitely interesting game. Therese Skubal talking about him once again, a guy both very high on, but definitely a concern when you see his last few starts. You talk about his command issues, and he talks about it as well. Him as well as AJ Hinch. They talk about him having the inability to get the ball to run towards his glove side, and it's really been an issue over the last 2 games. So when I hear him talk about it, and he's not really sure how he's going to go about fixing it, definitely an issue that it's brought up, and they're trying to address it, but how are they going to address it is the issue, and whether or not he does that is going to determine a lot going forward. He's still learning a lot, still having to adjust, and having a tough task going against a tough Boston lineup here. Michael Wacha on the other side has been pitching well throughout the entire year, had a couple of hiccups here and there, but 1.93 ERA this month, 3.10 ERA the last month, 1.77 in April. So the guy overall 2.28 ERA, and I'd expect him to continue to pitch well. He pitched well against Detroit first time out, 4 innings, 4 1/3, 2 hits, 1 earned run. So I'd expect him to pitch well. Still, my concern is with Therese Skubal. Therese Skubal, a guy that I definitely trust, and I definitely believe that he has the stuff, but over the last couple games, that is a concern, and the things that he's saying, it's tough for me to sit here and try to back him here today. I'll agree with the under. I lean towards it, but not a play for me today.
What a fascinating breakdown. Talk to me about Wacha. Do you trust him moving forward?
Yeah, he definitely looks like they figured it out. Pitch selection a little bit varies from what he's done in the past, and his numbers indicate that he'll continue to have success, especially against this Detroit lineup. I understand the spark of Sean Green, of Green coming up was huge for them, but still a lineup that still hasn't been able to produce consistently. So still, I expect him to have his way against them once again. Scuba's just a concern here. That I want to see. I'm sitting here wanting to. I've made lots of money off of him this year, but I'm going to sit back and wait.
Very, very interesting breakdown. It's funny that the Red Sox haven't seen Skubal more. They've barely seen him. They have barely seen him. Don Mack is on the Sox -1 at plus money. And here we go. The Stimmy OG play of the day is the under 6 in Avs Lightning. Well, you are on the side of the Sharps. This is a good place to be. Let me pop that in here so I can have that note when we go over the show. There we go. And then DC saying under 5-0 in Skubal's last 5 starts with 4 days of rest. Well, the concern that Red Sox meat of the lineup is looking real dangerous right now. If you look at JD Martinez and Xander Bogaerts and what their stat line is, it's very dangerous. And they just hit lefties hard. And I mean, you talk about Red Sox are hitting 259, 756 OPS versus lefties, while the Tigers are hitting 215, 586 versus righties. It's probably too big of an advantage to overcome. Scotty thinking about the Boston no run in the first inning. I mean, I get it. Jerry Young saying Tigers bullpen hasn't been as good of late. They have not. You were right. They have not been quite as good, but overall they've been nice. Jerry Young saying 1-5 as an underdog is Skubal. Okay, I'm off this one. But Taint play of the day is in, and Taint is the Tigers Red Sox first 5 under 4.5 at -115. The little flap of skin. We move on to 7:10 p.m. Eastern. New York Yankees 50-18, 21-11 on the road at the Tampa Bay Rays, 37-31, 22-14 at home. We're at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. Jordan Montgomery going up against the Wizard of Boz, Shane Boz, and man, he looked dynamite in that last start at the Orioles. 6 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 7 Ks, no walks in a 1-0 loss. How's that possible? Sorry, let me just pull up Boz's stats. I must have the wrong stats. If I've only got him throwing 9 1/3 on the season, let me just grab. I do not want to give wrong info here. Let me pull up the Wizard of Boz here quickly to make sure that I'm not screwing this up. If that's impossible. He's only thrown 8 1/3 innings. He couldn't have gone. He did, yeah. He was sorry. So I didn't realize he'd only thrown 2 1/3 before that. I knew he'd barely pitched, but wow. Okay, so there you have it. Yankees versus righties, 251, 771 OPS. Rays versus lefties, 2.96 ERA. What the hell? Sorry. Rays versus lefties, 252, 696 OPS. So hitting with average but no power. And then both bullpens have been so good this year, but the Rays can't seem to finish off games. Converted 20 of 35 saves. That's shocking when your bullpen has a 2.99 ERA and a 1.14 whip. Real Deal Prime says, call me crazy, but I'm back in Boz. Let's take a look at what we are dealing with here from a line history and a cash situation. After Boz looked so good last out, there's been a 10-cent move to the Yankees. And from a total perspective, a 5-cent move to the over 7. Let's go over to the cash and see if there's money on the Yankees and the over. We have Boz with half. Sports Insight's giving him a half line value. So the Diamondbacks, the White Sox, the Rays, and the A's have half line value. 20% of the tickets, 28% of the cash on Boz, 16% of the tickets, and 74% of cash on the under at 7. God, I would like to back Boz, but I don't want to just be a fanboy. It's about making money. Take it away, Nolly. Maybe you could shed some light. Yankees, Rays.
That's funny. Boz, yeah, definitely a guy fun to watch. Another great guy in this Rays organization, just 23 years old. So still a lot of question marks and still a lot of growing to do against a tough Yankee lineup. So will he be able to navigate them coming off a really strong performance on his birthday nonetheless? So shout out to Sharpie cashing that strikeout prop with him. But I think he should have a good start, but still a lot of question marks. I think the big surprise is Jordan Montgomery and the strides that he's made. You look at his starts, five straight starts with 6 innings and 2 runs or less given up. So the guy has been dominant as of late and using the cutter significantly more. You look at last year, he faced this team 6 times, and they finally got to him. His last start only going 2 2/3, giving up almost 7 runs, I believe, 6 earned. And but other starts, he was able to perform well. But like I mentioned, what I've seen out of him, he's just a different pitcher, using the sinker a lot as well and getting a lot more ground balls and pitching a lot more efficiently. So I like him to have another strong start. Hard not to back him once again. I think the question mark definitely Boz and see how he fares against this tough lineup and a tough situation. I think he's made for it. He's got really good stuff. So I'd lean towards the under. Just tough for me to trust the youngster in this spot.
Yeah, I get it. You know, he could be the ace of the staff. He could pitch game 1 of the playoffs for the Rays, right?
Still got McClanahan.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
So, I mean, I love Baz, and McClanahan just seems to be just has a little bit different, different little pep to his step. I love his presence on the mound a little bit more than Baz. Baz, you can see, has a little bit of growing to do still. But I still like the guy, and he definitely has the stuff. If he can put it together, it can be just as dominant. So I definitely like him, and just still a great number 2, though.
Huh. Yeah, Montgomery coming off a really impressive performance in Toronto because the Jays are raking versus lefties, and they couldn't get on
just 2 hits.
Huh. I was hoping to. I mean, the market clearly thinks that Boz is capable of having a big start against the Yankees. All this money on the under, and it's at 7. So the big bets have come in on this under. Huh. Joe Yerkovich says Boz lost the strike zone against the Twins. He might lose it again versus the Yankees. Topset says I see value on the Yankees. Nathan Turner says J Mont is legit. I like the Yanks. Christopher Comtini says brutal Rays lineup. And great stuff from our guy DC. Says Yankees are 6-0 in their last 6 games as a favorite of -110 to -150. Rays are 1-4 in their last 5 games as an underdog of +110 to +150. Real Deal Prime says that he wants to back Boz. He says Boz hasn't been in the groove yet. Bookies undervalue him. Joey Marinaccio says can't back Boz yet. Only throwing 8 in the third. Yankees or pass. Yeah, I get it. This would just be me being a fan, and I can't do that. So something inside me saying bet Boz, and it's just me loving baseball. I think. I
don't know. I think the kid looked extremely well, and he's got strong presence. Yeah, he's only got a certain amount of innings. He hasn't started yet. He was on the injured list. So coming back in, he was on a limit on the first time out, no limit second time out, was very impressive. So I wouldn't say that he's going to get lit up, but it's just still a lot of growing pains to go through. Is that today? I really don't think so. If I really would say first 5 under, but
okay,
I've got other bets.
That's fine, easy. AOD says Aaron Judge will rip Boz a new one. Our guy Top Set coming to us live from Las Vegas says, why are you backing young pitchers versus this team? Joe Yurkovich should play the full game over. Okay, we move on. Let's move on to 7:20 p.m. Eastern. San Francisco Giants 38-29, 19-15 on the road at the Atlanta Braves, 39-30, 21-15 at home. And we have the Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day. What a beaut. Ron Crawford's white hot, by the way. What a beautiful call on the Astros yesterday. Shout out to Ron Crawford here. Spreadsheet play of the day is the Atlanta Braves. I had them first 5 -1/2, full game -1. I cashed the first 5. The Braves is Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day. Also, Bobby G saying if everyone is backing the Yankees, the Rays are the play, in my opinion, probably the best bet on the board. I like the implied probability of the spot, and it was hard for me not to do that, not to move on. All right, let's go. Giants, Braves, Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's start with the weather in Atlanta. 96 Fahrenheit, feels like 101. 8.8 miles per hour out to left center, dies down to 7, but all the while out to center. Take a look at the line history. The line history in this Braves-Giants spot. God, this Braves offense just doesn't stop ever. You're down, 4-0 after 2 innings, and you could – and I still catch the first 5 -1/2. I mean, that's what we're talking about with this, even without Ozzie. But we've seen a 20-cent move towards the Braves in 5-cent increments. Opening up at -120 is now at -140. From a total perspective, it opened at 9, dropped 8.5, got back up to 9, dropped 8.5, got back up to 9. It's -115 to the under right now. Let's take a look at the cash. 7,023 tickets. They have slight line value on Charlie Morton and the Braves. He's a hard guy to back. I can't wait to hear Nolly's breakdown on Charlie Morton. 49% of the tickets, 47% of the cash is on the Braves and has moved 20 cents in their direction. Then 37% of tickets, 58% of cash on the under. We've seen it drop down to 8.5 a little bit. And Joe Yurkovich says the line's already shading toward Boz being really good. I think he has to prove it some more. I get it. I absolutely get it. Okay, Jerry Youngster is kind of like Giants after Atlanta's weak schedule. DC says Braves are 7-0 in their last 7 home games versus a left-handed starter. And this is a good one on the bump. Carlos Rodon, 6-4, 2.84 ERA, 1.14 whip, 91 Ks in 73 innings with 27 walks, 4 home runs. Just 4 home runs allowed in 73 innings. His last start at Pittsburgh was on Friday. We cashed the under 8 so easily. He went 8 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 8 Ks, 2 walks, and a 2-0 win. Charlie Morton coming off his best start of the year. Now, it was a 1-0 loss at the Cubs. He went 7 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 9 Ks, no walks. He's got a 5.08 ERA, but 75 Ks and 67 in a third. I mean, he can still throw. Giants are hitting 243, 729 OPS versus righties. The Braves smash lefties, 263, 821 OPS. Giants bullpen 4.11 ERA, 1.30 whip, converted 16 of 25 save opportunities. They're not very good. Braves bullpen is good. Now, they're coming off a terrible night yesterday, but they're really good. 3.05 ERA, 1.16 whip, converted 22 of 35 save opportunities. Can Carlos Rodon get touched after pitching in a pitcher's ballpark and now pitching in 100-degree weather with the wind blowing out against this vaunted Braves lineup against lefties. Take it away here, Nolly. Giants, Braves.
God damn, I feel like that's a scary proposition now. You made it seem really scary now, but I mean, I like the way that Rodon's been able to bounce back. He's had some shaky starts, but as of late, looks to be pitching significantly better here in the month of June. 1.17 ERA and going against a couple ball clubs that can hit lefties. So you look over the last. You look over the last few starts against San Diego ball club that hits lefties hard, went 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, and against Colorado went 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. So I believe that he can have a good start, and he's been pitching significantly better. The other side, Charlie Morton, I believe that's the bigger question mark. The way he's been pitching has been inconsistent, but something that's pretty encouraging. If you look over the last 2 starts, I believe he's got 20 strikeouts against the Pittsburgh Pirates. I believe he had 11 and really settled in after giving up 2 home runs in that first inning. Gave up two more runs across 5 innings, going 6 full innings in that game. 12 strikeouts, so 21 over the last 2 and getting 3 hits against the Chicago Cubs. So a lot more life to his fastball over the last couple games, and I'd expect that to continue against this ball club. He did pitch against them most recently last year, went I believe 5 innings, giving up 2 runs, and I'd expect him to have another solid start. I'd understand the weather, and the weather can be a concern, but ultimately I believe these pitchers to be solid and to want to pitch against each other. That's something that I always look at. Big time pitchers going against other big time pitchers tend to show up for that moment, and that's something that I expect. Both pitchers are pitching at elite level right now, and I'd expect that to continue going into today. I fired on this game. I've got first 5 under 4.5.
First 5 under 4.5 for Nolly Knows. Wow, interesting. Let's see what we can offer you here on that spot with the Giants, Braves. First 5 under 4.5. Wow, at plus 103. Plus 103 for that first 5 under 4.5. Let's see what Circa is hanging. Maybe they'll give you something nice here on the. Maybe they'll even give you a 5. Let's check it out. The first 5 total. Wow, minus 112. Huh. Very interesting that you'd be getting plus 103. All right, well, that's a much, much better line that's available at other spots. So let's give you that right now. Nolly is on the first 5 under 4.5 at plus 103. Wow, look at that. Billy Friedrich can give you that 5 at minus 113 at Bookmaker. Would you prefer that?
No, we'll just go 4.5 because that's what I got.
Okay. Wow. Very, very, very interesting.
That's nice.
Braves are 5-0. Morton's last 5 starts as a favorite of minus 110 to minus 150. This is from our guy DC. Giants are 1-7 in their last 8 games as a road underdog of plus 110 to 150. Luchace Fox says Morton is overrated, but I think he does pretty well tonight. Wow. This gives me a lot to think about. Okay. I was thinking of backing the Braves here, but there's such an advantage with Rodon over Morton with the way Morton's pitching, but now a home start. Let me pull up Morton's splits here. Has he been at all trustworthy at home? Let me grab this right now. The home and road splits, I usually have them up now, but I said I'd wait till the end of the Stanley Cup and NBA Finals to have them up here. So we'll discuss them with each and every pitch. I just wanted enough sample size so that it didn't mess with us more than help us. And let's take a look at his splits here. This is Charlie Morton. 38-year-old Charlie Morton. He's been a little better at home. 4.34 ERA, 226 opponents batting average. Let's just take a look at the batter versus pitcher here with Morton and Rodon. And we have against Morton, Brandon Crawford, 294. Nothing to worry about. And they've barely seen Rodon. I get it. I get your look here. I'm going to keep thinking on it and not make a move at this point. But Nolly has locked in the first 5 under 4.5 at plus 103. Christopher Comtini says lefties hitting 270 versus Morton. All right, we move on. 7:40 p.m. Eastern. Cleveland Guardians 35-28, 19-18 on the road at the Minnesota Twins, 38-31, 20-15 at home. We're at Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We will open up with the weather here in Target Field. 85 Fahrenheit, 8.4 miles per hour out to right center. Dies down to 6.4 miles per hour. Let's move over to the line history in this spot. We're coming off the loss on the Twins' first 5 minus a half. I know a lot of us were on that look. And I love these two pitchers. I love them both, McKenzie and Gray. The Twins opened up minus 145. They're now minus 155, a 10-cent move towards them. This total opened up at 8.5. There's been a 5-cent move to the over. 5-cent move to the over. Interesting. Let's see if the cash follows suit with this. There's 6,065 tickets in. 62% of the tickets and 96% of the cash is on Minnesota and Sonny Gray. That's only moved 5 cents. Then you have 46% of tickets and 59% of cash on the over. Wow. Here we go. Tristan McKenzie, whom we all like very much. And he's got a bit of an issue with the home run ball. He's allowed 11 home runs in 70 innings. But this guy's got some elite stuff. 2.96 ERA, 0.93 whip. In his last start, 4-2 win at the Rockies. And I loved, it wasn't, I shouldn't even say I should say you guys capped it so beautifully. The angle, and it was from the chat, and it made us money, was that Tristan McKenzie had never pitched at Coors Field, and he's a confident kid. Why would he be afraid of it if it's never hurt him before? Why wouldn't he just go up with that swagger that he has? And God, it was just an excellent angle by you guys that made us all money. And I loved every goddamn second of it. 6 innings, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 6 Ks, 1 walk, and a 4-2 win at the Rockies. Sonny Gray, he just wins. And the Twins just win when he's on the mound. 2.09 ERA, 0.93 whip. Spent a little bit of time on the IL. He's come off and he's still firing. 5 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 3 Ks, no walks, and a 5-0 loss at the Mariners. Was that you, Real Deal? Because it was whoever did it was absolutely spectacular. John Todd said, I'm back in Sonny Gray he's hot. First 5 Twins. Guardians versus righties, 255, 723 OPS. Twins also hit righties hard, 252, 743 OPS. Guardians bullpen, 2.86 ERA, 1.09 whip, being so good this year, converted 18 of 24 saves. And the Twins bullpen, 3.86 ERA, 1.27 whip, converted 16 of 25 saves. By the way, Ronnie Imburgia is on the under 14.5 in Texas A&M, Oklahoma in the College World Series. Take it away for us, Nolly. I love this pitching matchup. A very interesting market movement. Love to hear your breakdown. Take it away, Guardians, Twins.
Yeah, definitely a great pitching matchup when we look at these two pitchers. Tristan McKenzie, been a great pitcher since he's come up. Had a rough patch last season and even in the spring training, but he's been able to change up his repertoire and has been successful for him, pitching significantly better as of late. And I like the way he's pitched. He's looked good against this Minnesota ball club, which as a team in 57 at-bats have 7 hits. One double, 4 home runs, so 128 batting average against them. He had a good start against them earlier this season, in which he went 7 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, and like you mentioned, the long ball being the issue, giving up 2 home runs, but still able to go 7 strong innings, only giving up 3 earned runs. And I'd expect another solid start out of him, a guy that I'm really high on, and I'd expect him to have a solid career. And you look at overall his numbers here in the month. In the month of May, 2.12 ERA, 3.79 here in the month of June. A rough start, we could say, against Baltimore, where they got to him really late in the game, going 7 innings still. So he's been able to go 6 or 7 innings in about 7 straight starts. So giving you a chance to win when he goes out there. And Sonny Gray, like you mentioned, they win when he goes out there and pitches. You look at his 6 straight wins for the ball club with him on the bump. And the big reason he's given up 2 or less, shutting out the opponents in 3 of those games. He pitched well against Cleveland last time out, May 13th, giving up 2 runs, going 4 1/3, giving up 2 runs, even in a day in which he didn't have his best stuff. He gave up 4 walks and still struck out 8 batters. So I'd expect him to pitch better here. He's been pitching really well. Month of May had a 1.65 ERA. Didn't give up a run against Seattle in his 1 start here in June. And I'd expect him to continue what he's doing. And for me, I took a shot at the first 5 under 4.5.
Absolutely. I completely understand. I'm a little surprised that the market hasn't moved towards the under. Why would that be? And I'm trying not to let it give me cold feet, but juice to the over here, the 4.5 or the pick'em. Is this just dictated on the offensive weather? Is that it? Is that the only reason why we're seeing? Because both pitchers have nice stats against the opposition.
Yeah, really good numbers. Even you look at Sonny Gray, he's been able to shut down Jose Ramirez, which not many pitchers can say that, you know. And so I don't understand it. I can understand that Minnesota and at home they've been going towards the over, but I'm gonna focus on the first 5. I like these pitchers and pull the trigger.
Yeah, I completely understand why you are doing that. I completely understand. Let's see what we can get you. I'm a little hesitant. I'm going to have to study it a little more. It just doesn't all correlate for me. Let's take a look here. First half, 4.5. The under is minus 104 at Pinnacle, so it's juiced to the over. Why the hell would that be? Nolly, first 5, under 4.5, minus 104. Nolly, Pete and I have talked about our ROI being negative when the line moves with us and how we have a positive ROI when the line moves against us. I know that you have no fear with line movement and trust the capping, but can you talk about how you what your record is when the line moves with you and when the line moves against you?
I mean, earlier in the year, when it would go against me, it was very profitable, but recently that hasn't been the case. So recently, I've seen it has affected in some of the games. I know I do believe the first appearance, though, it didn't really affect me. I went against like almost every market move. Sometimes just that's what they see. But I just, for the weather, I'm not inclined to just go and bet the over and just think that it's going to produce runs the way that the wind blowing in might affect it a little bit more and preventing runs. That's just my interpretation of it. It's just the effect that you got to hit it out there. You got to hit it up in the air. But I did see a ball yesterday with Cincinnati in the Reds game with Justin Turner. The ball kept going. Even the announcers were shocked. But overall, sorry, I'm getting off subject. But overall, for the line movement, it's been back and forth this season. But ultimately, I tried not to get involved with that, because if I'm trying to go back and forth, I'm gonna get stuck on the wrong side more often than not, I feel. So just stick to what I think.
First 5 under 4.5, minus 104 for Nolly Knows. Matty Ice is on the Tribe and the under 8.5. Huh. Eric Jones on Cleveland plus 140. I agree with Joe Yurgovich's line saying the matchup is way too close for there to be a plus 140 dog. With all that being said, I don't know if I can. I'm just the market messing with me here, and I've got to just keep doing what's been working for me. John Todd says going to put his picks on after he gets off at 2 p.m. today. I love it, John. We've loved having you in the chat over this last little while. Keep up the good work. Let's roll on to the next spot on the board. God, I love these division battles between the Cardinals and the Brewers, man. 8:10 p.m. Eastern. St. Louis Cardinals 39-31, 18-18 on the road. At the Brewers 39-31, 16-13 at home. We're at American Family Field in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The roof will be closed. It's sticky out there. Wainwright going up against Lauer. I love this matchup as well. And Wainwright coming off a tough start at Boston. 6 in the third, 7 hits, 4 in runs, no homers, 5 Ks, 1 walk, and a 6.5 loss. But he's been very good this year. 3.06 ERA, 1.24 WHIP. Eric Lauer coming off a 5-4 win at the Reds. 6 in the third, 6 hits, 4 in runs, 3 homers, 5 Ks, 1 walk. Bent, but didn't really break. Wasn't a quality start. 3.57 ERA, 1.19 WHIP. Cardinals are hitting lefties still. I would really beat myself up 2 weeks ago when you were on the show, and you had mentioned that the Cards hadn't hit lefties 3 games in a row against lefties, and I still made a move on an over that was a loss for me, and I really need to listen, and I kept telling my, so I've been like hyper aware of anything that anybody says the last 2 weeks, because I literally sat there all night going, he gave that to you on a silver platter. He gave you the gift to get off this stupid bet, and I still lost money on it, just being a thick-headed fucking. So Brewers versus righties, 236, 722 OPS, and I still believe that. Oh, and look at that. Todd live for Sundays. Thank you. Says no humidity here in Milwaukee today. Roof should be open. Oh, that's great. Thank you. I didn't mean to, not study that enough before. You're right. There's no humidity. It's beautiful weather. Wow. Thank you. That's great. Big help here from Todd live for Sundays. 80 Fahrenheit, 8.5 miles per hour out to right center, and perfect baseball weather. Okay, so that will help the offense. Let's take a look at the line history here in this spot. Wainwright versus Lauer. See, just listening. There's a perfect example of right there. The Milwaukee minus 110. Pick'em opening up now. They've moved 5 cents in their favor. It's minus 115. This total's gone from 8.5 to 9, and it's still. So at 8:48 in the morning, it was minus 115 to the over 9. There's been a pretty big move back. A 15-cent move back to the under. So right now the total is 9, but the under is minus 120. We'll take a look at the cash flow in this spot. We have 5,485 tickets in. 47% of the tickets, 66% of the cash on St. Louis. 52% of the tickets, 88% of cash on the under. And we've seen that late move towards the under. Take it away here, Nolly. I love when you talk about these veteran pitchers, so can't wait to hear your breakdown. Wainwright, Lauer, Cards, Brewers, floor is yours.
Yeah, I think it's pretty impressive the way Wainwright's been able to do his thing, 40 years old, and still with a 3.06 ERA. You look at it, most of his starts as of late, for the last 5 starts, going at least 7 innings in those starts. So, like last time out, gave up 4 runs, giving up a run late there in the 7th inning against Boston, but still giving his team a chance to win each and every time he goes out there. But the one concern in this game, he's been getting lit up against Milwaukee this season. He got hit hard versus Milwaukee at home, giving up 10 hits, 3 earned runs, and then also on the road, giving up 8 hits, 4 earned runs, going 4 1/3. So a concern going into this game, going on the road, and also in those 5 games, he's failed to record a win. So basically his team not hitting for him when he goes out there. So that's a concern. And especially going against Eric Lauer. Eric Lauer was able to shut down the Cardinals, not completely, but able to go 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs against them earlier this year. And he's pitched well on the year, albeit he got lit up against Washington, giving up 4 against Cincinnati as well. But I believe he's pitched pretty well, and especially at home, he's pitched a little bit better, maybe because of the competition, but still ultimately pitching a lot better at home. Just 3 starts, but I believe he does have a good start. The question mark is definitely Adam Wainwright. Everything would say that he's perfectly fine. He's going about 100 pitches every time and still going deep into games. But the fact that he got lit up 2 times already against this team, they feel comfortable in the box. It's hard for me to think that anything changes, and I'd expect they get to him for a couple runs. So totals perspective, I don't like the under, being that they see each other so many times. So this time around is just a stay off game for me.
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable as well. I can understand wanting to back Lauer at home. Do you still fear the Cards versus lefties, or is that no longer a concern?
Well, one of the main guys that hits lefties is going to be Paul Goldschmidt, and Eric Lauer has his number. Paul Goldschmidt's like one of the top guys in like the history of baseball and on base percentage against lefties. Right up there with like Manny Ramirez, and I can't remember who, but Paul Goldschmidt is only 1 for 9 against Lauer. So I mean, not a whole lot of at bats, but still 1 for 9. Going to be tough going against this lefty. So it all depends on what lefty. I think those numbers can be inflated when they're facing some weaker opponents early on.
I kind of want to move on the Brewers here. Billy Friedrich says Brewers first 5 here and nothing. I wouldn't focus just on the first 5 because you have a bullpen advantage with the Brew Crew here. DC says unders 5-0-1 the Cardinals' last 6 games versus left-handed starter. I kind of want to move on the Brewers here. And I guess Lauer allowing 3 home runs at the Red. Would we say this is going to be a get-right start for Lauer? Because if we can't say that, then I shouldn't bet on the Brewers. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely get right spot for him, especially coming home. You know, he's proven to be more comfortable here at home, so I'd expect to get right spot for him. But my concern is just Wainwright, so I definitely agree with the Milwaukee, but not making them.
And then, okay, sorry, one last question. What would keep you off of backing the Brewers first 5 at a pick'em?
I guess just not trying to go too deep, not trying to get too much action, I guess. Other spots that I like a little bit more.
And those numbers against Goldie, it's 1 for 9 against them. Wow. Okay. DC saying Brewers are 6-1 Lauer's last 7 starts after allowing 5 runs or more in the previous game. Matt Paulins, it feels like a true coin flip game. It doesn't have to be a coin flip game. There's Lamont Williams in the house. Great to see you, Lamont. Yes, we're going to go over action, and I'd like Nolly and I, we're each going to try to give Millsy's 9-year-old daughter Nakara, it's her birthday day. We're both going to try to give a birthday pick after we look over and see, not that we're going to bet any one game more than another, but we'll give it a shot, even though it is Pistol Pete Loshak who's the king of it. Let me just quickly go over the last few starts here for Lauer, and then we'll move on. We have 2 games left, and we have the very interesting game in Oakland. So let's just take one last look at Lauer. He's not somebody who deals with arm fatigue. I mean, he's just been such a different pitcher over the last couple of years. So he has 2 road starts. He does not look good. He shut down the Padres at home. He's had 4 of his last 5 starts have been on the road. And then how many innings has he thrown at home? 26 innings. He's been so good. 3 earned runs. I think this has to be a spot where you have to trust the numbers and trust Lauer at home and take the Brewers first 5 and trust the fact that these Brewers seem to be able to hit Wainwright. And Wainwright hasn't been that good on the road, although the home road splits aren't extreme as in other years. Okay, Brewers first 5 is on my card. We move on, 9:40 p.m. Eastern. Seattle Mariners 30-39, 15-21 on the road at the Oakland A's, 23-46, 8-26 at home. We're at Oakland Coliseum, Oakland, California. God damn, was that a big win for me. Mariners first 5 -1/2, full game -1, and Marco Gonzalez. Gonzaga's own Marco Gonzalez. First baseman in his days at Gonzaga as well. He could hit. Let's see what we are dealing with weather-wise in Oakland. It was really hot there yesterday. Not so much today, but warmer than usual. 69 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 9.2 miles per hour out to right field, dies down to 6.7. We'll go to the line history here, and I imagine there's been a move towards There has not been a move towards Blackburn. Wow. A 15-cent move towards Kirby and the Mariners. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 7. It lasted for 10 minutes before it went to 7.5. It was there for a few hours. Actually, it was there for 12 hours. It's come back to 7. So it's 7 at -120. I really thought there was going to be a move towards Blackburn. Sports Insights has half line value towards Blackburn and the A's. 5,876 tickets in, 42% of the tickets, 51% of the cash on the A's. Then 38% of the tickets, 92% of cash on the under. JPZ also cashed nicely on the Mariners last night. Joe Yurkovich says this is what the Twins line should have been. I agree with that. Danzo loves these over 1.5 runs in the first inning in St. Louis, Milwaukee. Ooh, Danzo going for a big score there. Danzo cashes these big scores. Okay, Kirby, the youngster, coming off a nice start in a 4-1 loss at home versus the Angels. He went 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 6 Ks, 1 walk. Quality start. 3.56 ERA, 1.14 whip on the year. He's been very good in 43 innings. His strikeout to walk ratio is spectacular at 41 strikeouts, 5 walks, but has allowed 8 home runs. in those 43 innings. Paul Blackburn, last start, was a great catcher for us. 5 1/3, 8 hits, 1 earned run, 4 Ks, 2 walks, and a 4-3 win at the Red Sox. I know Babano had him first 5 in full game. I only had him first 5, but it was nice. He's got a 2.26 ERA, 1.07 whip on the year. He's allowed 3 home runs, 71 2/3. The Mariners are hitting 241, 711 OPS versus righties. God, the A's are bad. 204, 583 OPS versus righties. Both bullpens are bad, but we expect the Mariners bullpen to improve, whereas this is the A's bullpen. Control Your Vessel says, no one believes in this A's team. Even if they get good pitching, you can't trust this lineup to support it. DC says the Mariners are 10-2 in their last 12 games as a road favorite, to -110 to -150. Athletics are 0-4 in Blackburn's last 4 starts as an underdog, +110, +150. I wouldn't have expected that. I would not have expected that. Billy Friedrich looking at the under 3.5 Ks for Blackburn. JP says Mariners have won back-to-back games in the series one time in the past 2 months. They're not stringing wins together. Oh, wow. Fascinating breakdown and thoughts from the chat. Let's see what Nolly has to say. Mariners, A's, take it away.
Definitely interesting game, especially with that total. Tough for me to hear it go up and down. But for Blackburn, he's been really good on the year and was able to shut down these Seattle Mariners once already this year, going 5 1/3, just giving up 1 hit in a day in which he didn't have his best stuff. Gave up 5 walks, just 2 strikeouts. So a guy that was out of the zone but still only recorded just giving up 1 hit. So he felt really comfortable and now being on the road. Other side for Kirby, when he faced this Oakland team, gave up 4 runs, giving up 8 hits, but did record 9 strikeouts. So still able to get the strikeouts. A guy been able to do that throughout his starts, but a concern there that they were able to get to him. But are you going to trust this A's team to continue to hit and continue to produce? That's the tough thing for me. Hard for me to trust this offense that ranks bottom 10 and bottom 5 in almost every offensive category. For me, I would definitely not trust the Oakland A's. I'd lean towards the under here. I was close to it, but Kirby getting hit by this team keeps me off, and just better. To me, I think just better pitching out there for a number at 3.5. I do understand the big ballpark. If I get a 7.5 full game, I was thinking about that, but then you got the bullpens to consider. So you can see my reluctance to get involved. So I just stayed off.
Wow. I really thought that the money that's been made off of Blackburn supporters would move the market towards the A's. Again, here is a spot where the first bet that jumped out on me on this entire card was backing Blackburn and the A's first 5. And I know that my gut wants to keep my family in Parkdale and not to trust it. But that was my first instinct. And now I see a 15-cent move towards Kirby, and I'm perplexed. And I need to think about it longer and not to sit here and hum and haw. Wow. Let me just pull up the batter versus pitcher here. I imagine that Babano's not going to care, and he's going to fire away here. And only JP Crawford is 4 for 10, but wow, that's just wild. And all these A's have touched Kirby up. They got to Kirby. Wow. Unbelievable. Okay, well, that changes my plan. But I thought it was a possibility. Again, that first look on the board, trusting your gut, is not worked for me. And that was my first thought on the board. JP's Parkdale. Yeah, I love it, Jay. All right, last game on the board, a really fun one. 9:49 p.m. Eastern. Kansas City Royals 25-42, 13-21 on the road at the LA Angels 33-38, 17-20 at home. Raymond Reichart saying making good time, Jim. 25 minutes till first pitch. Ooh, shoot. Yeah, because I was thinking moving on the Astros. I wouldn't mind revisiting that quickly. Thank you for reminding me there. Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. We got Daniel Lynch against Shohei Ohtani, and this Angels team is just not hitting lefties. 233, 667 OPS. And the Royals aren't hitting righties, but they actually hit them a little better than the Angels hit lefties. 240, 670 OPS. Shohei time. Let's start with the weather in LA. 82 Fahrenheit, 8.5 miles per hour to right center. And it dies down to 5.8. Let's take a look at the line history in the Angels spot. We have a 30-cent move to Shohei, minus 240, now opened up at minus 210. From a totals perspective, there's been a 10-cent move to the over 8 at minus 120. Let's take a look at the cash here in this one. We have 6,720 tickets in. 87% of tickets, 87% of the cash on the Angels. Markets move 30 cents towards them. That all makes sense. Then we have 38% of the tickets and 58% of the cash on the under, but it's gone up 10 cents. Very interesting spot here. Shohei coming off a beautiful start at the Mariners. 4-1 win, 6 innings, 3 hits, no run, 6 Ks, 2 walks. We cashed on that, and Carter picked up the Angels hat, and we knew to trust them. And the Royals bullpen is awful. 4.66 ERA, 1.50 whip. The Angels bullpen's looked a little better of late. Take it away here, Nolly. Is it possible that Lynch, who's coming off a 5-1 win at the A's, where he went just 5 innings, but he struck out 10. We know the upside of Daniel Lynch, and we're going up against a team that can't hit lefties. It's offensive weather in Anaheim, but could the under be in play? Take it away here, Nolly. Royals, Angels.
Is it offensive weather? There's like thunderstorms right now. But I am like 12 miles away. But anyways, Daniel Lynch, I don't know. It's hard to trust the guy. I can understand that he had a dominant performance against the Oakland A's, but it's the Oakland A's, you know, and a guy that has been getting lit up early and often. Here you look, he's had a difficult time even getting out of the first inning. He's got 12-game start. He's given up 12 earned runs in the first inning. Got one of the worst first inning pitchers in all of baseball. And I can understand the Angels they're really not hitting the ball. And the one guy hitting the ball is pitching. You look at Ohtani yesterday, 8 RBIs yesterday, hit 2 3-run home runs, and still they weren't able to get it done. Really, the bullpen, you know, both bullpens really giving up their cheeks yesterday, and it's a big part of this game. And really, I told you couldn't pay me enough to watch that game, 11-10 ball game. I could have seen that coming, you know. Yeah, you can say I bet the over, but I'm just not trusting these guys, man. These are two teams playing awful baseball. Really, the bullpens are just awful. So for me, it's hard to trust Daniel Lynch, but am I going to lay 230 with Shohei Ohtani? I mean, a guy that he has been their stopper. He's the guy that's stopping teams when he needs to, but hard for me to trust him each and every time. No way I'm just going to get involved in this team with this game.
Yeah, I get it, because there is a chance, you know, you talk about Lynch's first inning struggles, which are so real, but there is a chance that Lynch can carry that success over. I know the A's are terrible, but the Angels don't hit lefties. So is there a chance sort of in your mind that Lynch can go toe-to-toe with Shohei?
So you're saying there's a chance. Yeah, definitely. So when you got a pitcher, when you see these studs like Shohei Ohtani, when they get on there and they get rolling, you see some of these other guys on the other side that they'll want to match that. And you'll see all of a sudden the guy's going 6 innings, no hit ball. You know what I mean? Am I going to expect that? Not necessarily from Lynch, but if any time, yeah, this could be a time for him to get rolling against a crappy team. But you know, you look at the Angels, you know, I was looking up some metrics and they don't swing out of the zone. They just swing and miss in the zone. They're just bad.
I think Lynch can carry it over here. I think it's an opportunity to go up against Shohei and show his best stuff. I've lost money on Lynch already this year, but I'm leaning towards that first 5 under. You're getting 4.5. I can understand why the full game is juiced to the over. I mean, the bullpens are terrible. I think that I close up my card here with a first 5 under 4.5 in this one. All right. Let's review all MLB action, and let's see, and I don't mean to put pressure on you, but let's see if we can give a birthday pick for Nakara. We'll each see if there's an MLB spot that we like.
I did want to I move on the spot that's getting ready to pop off here.
Beautiful. Well, let's talk about the spots that pop off in.
Oh no, I still got. Never mind. I got more time for the other ones.
But okay. So I am going to move on the Astros full game -1. I'm going to move on that. Let me just take one last look, and I've got 19 minutes to bet it. Let me just take one last look at the cash here. 49.57, and market moving towards them. I am going to do that. Okay. Then Blue Jays, White Sox, we are off. Phillies, stop me when there's a spot where you want to move. Phillies, Rangers was a very interesting spot. Nolly got the 4.5, and it's just the first 5 is just being hammered to the under. It's a 3.5 right now at Bet365. Diamondbacks first 5. I'm interested in. I think there were some really nice points about Machado being out of the lineup and his ability to hit lefties.
Do I raise my hand? How do I go about this?
Yeah. No, you don't need to raise your hand. Just let us know what's up. What up?
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna end up moving on this game here. I'm gonna go full game under here. I've got a 7.5 right now, minus 105. That's what I'm gonna bet right now.
Okay, let's see what we can give you on this one. Yeah, 7.5 minus 106. Let me see if you got 105. We'll take your 105. Let me. Just
I got a Bovada right now.
Okay, perfect. Let me just see if Circa can possibly beat it.
Yeah.
And a full game. Yeah. Okay, we'll take your 105. Okay, Nolly is on the under 7.5 at minus 105, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna take the Diamondbacks first 5. Cheshire Cat says, feel like Jimmy and I are on opposites so often. It's not a good feeling for me to be on the other side of any of you guys. But we just do the work and then trust the work. Nolly's on the first 5 under 4, minus 109 in Colorado, Miami. He's on the first 5 under 5 at minus 108 in LA, Cincinnati. Say hey, play of the day is the Pirates team total over 4 at minus 115. Nationals, Orioles, we think is going to get rained out. The taint play of the day is Tigers, Red Sox, first 5 under 4.5 at minus 115. Yankees, Tampa, we stayed off. Nolly's on the first 5 under 4.5 at plus 103 in San Francisco, Atlanta. He's on the first 5 under 4.5 in Cleveland, Minnesota. I am moving on the Brewers first 5. Mariners, A's, we stayed off. I'm moving on the first 5 under 4.5 in Kansas City, LA. So yes, Raymond, that's the first full game under for Nolly in the Diamondbacks spot. The bet that I'm the most confident in, I would say now, looking over all my action, and I don't have very much action today, which is fine. I just have to continue just taking what the league gives me and not being nervous when I have 13 bets like yesterday and not trying to reach when I only have 4, I think, today. My favorite spot on the board after all of this is the Brewers' first 5. It's Lauer to bounce back, Wainwright to get touched by this lineup that knows him so well and just touched enough. I love the angle of Goldschmidt, who's so dynamite and part of the reason why the Cardinals had lefties only 1 for 9. So, yeah. That's it for me. So for Nakara, happy birthday, Nakara. You have a great dad and a sweet family. So much love to you and your future, your very bright future. And Brewers for me. What's the spot on the board that you maybe like a little more than the others?
That's going to be Cleveland, Minnesota, first 5 under 4.5.
That's a great number, isn't it? And Raymond Reichard says that Cleveland, Minnesota under 4.5 looks very good. Abele on the Yankees and the Dodgers. Nolly knows what a treat it is to roll with you, my man. We need more of you. I will schedule you back in as soon as possible. You know what? Actually, we could. What do you want to just? Can we get you back? Well, I'll message you, but I'd love you back next Wednesday if it's possible. Get you back
definitely.
Get you rolling. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna lock that in, which means that next week we have Nolly Knows on Wednesday and Dommy Gun Ricci making his season debut. Dommy Ricci on Thursday.
Light it up.
Yeah, so Dommy Ricci on Thursday and Nolly Knows next week on Wednesday. Nolly, great work. I love the opportunity to cap with you. Go out there and get that cash. And thank you for hanging with us, my man. Follow Nolly on Twitter at Nolly Knows. Nolly, any last words for the cappers here supporting the show?
Oh, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening. And good luck to everybody out there. Bet responsibly.
I love it. There he is. Nolly Knows in the house. So a quick review. We're going to show we had all our guys over at the big Austin UFC last weekend. So we're going to show you a little promo video of what went down UFC Austin with our squad in effect. So that's going to pop off here in a second. Let's just do a quick review of other action. Slatsy's on the first period over 1.5 minus 128 in tonight's game 6. He's on the over 6 at plus 102. He's not scared that the Sharks are on the under. He's on McKinnon over 4.5 shots at minus 130 and Vassy to over 32.5 saves at minus 129. Stimmy OG, his Stimmy play of the day is on the under 6. Gogster's on the Avs at minus 101 and McKinnon anytime goal at plus 149. Say, hey, play of the day's on McKinnon anytime goal at plus 149. I am not. I'm not. I'm with the public. With the public on the Lightning and the team total over 3. I'm going to build it to 3 and not 2.5 juiced. I'm going to take 3, which is pretty close to even money on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Just praying on the weak goaltending is what I'm going to be doing. Praying on the weak goaltending. We have already reviewed MLB. Tomorrow, we're going to start with Mr. Gogster again. He's going to talk to us about the game that was, Game 4, and he's going to give us his look on Game 5. We're also going to talk about Thursday Night Football in the Canadian Football League. Then we will move on to MLB and hopefully the Great Big Ragu. I'm going to send him a message here after the show. That was a lot of fun. We're running real nice in MLB. Now 19 games over 500, but the VIG is a bitch, man. And 143 wins, 122 losses, 54%. My average line's minus 108, but even being 21 games over 500, I'm only up 9.3 units. ROI plus 3.51%. Much love, you guys. What a great chat we had today. Everything was so just, you guys were on one. Excellent work. Let's keep winning. We're just winning as a team, and it feels really good. A razor sharp picks in the house. Jay Peasy, DC, Viper NB, Andrew G, Mad Stoney, Nate Cerna, Rance, Abel A, Raymond Reichart, Don Mack, Real Deal Prime, Control Your Vessel, Harold Williams. What a great, great group. Cheshire Cat, Nasty Nate, Lamont Williams, two-team parlay for him is Phillies strikeout over 6.5 and New York to strikeout over 5.5. There you go right there. Nathan Cerna just moved on Texas A&M in the College Baseball World Series. Thank you guys. Nate Cerna, Matt Paulins, Robert Franklin. Let's get that cash. We're going to close the show with a little premiere of our next video, UFC Austin. But thank you all for your support. Let's go out there and get paid in full. 12 minutes before the Astros game pops off and the Jays game pops off. I'm only on the Astros -1. We kind of left that Jays game alone. But go out there and get paid today. Let's say. Hey, Los bookmakers.
Come on, it's free, bro. Don't be one of those.